Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting series on what if Naruto and Sakura become ultimate power couple. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. It was another day in the village hidden in the leaves. Another day where the boy who was the jailer of the Kyuubi no Kitsune was getting chased by the angry villagers. 4-year-old Naruto Uzumaki was running for his life. He was on his way to go to meet his best friend Sakura Haruno. However, he unfortunately ran into one of the villagers who hate him for a reason he doesn't understand. The villager got a few more villagers together and they started to chase after the boy. They were chasing him with pitchforks and all types of weapons they can get their hands on. Naruto already had to take a beating not too long ago, but today he just couldn't afford to do so. He promised Sakura that he would hang out with her at the park today, so he had to make it on time or she would start to get worried. Eventually, after running through alley after alley, Naruto lost the angry mob. He made his way to the park. Sakura was sitting on one of the swings, looking around for her blonde best friend. He's late again. I wonder if he got chased on the way here, Sakura thought to herself. She kept looking out for him. She was about to go look for him, but she saw his blonde spiky hair from the distance. Naruto was running towards her. Sakura's face beamed a big smile. Ever since the day Naruto protected her from the bullies who was making fun of her forehead, which was a few months ago, they have been the best of friends. While Naruto was one of, if not Sakura's closest friend, Sakura was Naruto's only friend. Naruto had tried to make friends, but they kids either make fun of him or their parents tell them to don't play with him. Sakura also had noticed that, so she tried to introduce Naruto to Ino. Ino was a bit judgmental, but she can be a kind person. When Naruto and Ino first met, Ino wasn't the friendliest person towards him. However, after a few days of hanging out, she has come to think of Naruto as someone who is actually fun to be around. She wouldn't necessarily call him a friend yet, but their relationship was working towards a solid friendship. Naruto also had problems trusting people. Since people are always out to get him for some reason, he has to always watch his back to try to avoid trouble. "You're late again, Naruto-kun," Sakura said. Naruto gave her a sheepish grin. Sorry, Sakura-chan. I had to run from the villagers again. I really tried to get here on time, but it was a pain trying to lose them this time around," the blonde explained. "I wish we knew why they did that to you. My mother is trying to keep me from hanging out with you, but I'm not going to listen to her. She's keep calling you a rotten boy and a demon." "I don't understand what makes you a demon," Sakura said. Naruto just shrugged. "I don't know, even the people at the orphanage called me that. It got so bad that the Hokage thought it was best if I don't stay there anymore. The caretaker there always tried to put some nasty stuff in my food or drinks. It usually made my stomach hurt for a while. I think Hokage Gigi called it poison or something," he explained. "Poison? From the books I've read, poison is supposed to be attack you from inside your body and kill you slowly. How many times did they try to poison you, Naruto?" Sakura asked with a bit of concern in her voice. Probably almost 10 as far as I can remember. She used to beat me too and tell the other kids to not talk to me and to make fun of me. It was one girl who never did though. She was pretty nice, her name was Tenten or something like that," Naruto said. "Wow, Naruto, you're real lucky that you didn't die. It's odd how only you can survive what most kids our age can't," Sakura said. "I don't really think too much of it. I just hate how I have to go through it for no absolute reason. I get called a demon when I didn't even do anything. Maybe a couple pranks here and there. But that's only to get back at people who try to harm me," the blonde replied. "Well, enough of that, we can talk about that a different time. Let's play a game or something," the pinkette voiced. The two young children played games like tag, hide and seek, ninja and many more. It was getting a bit late and Sakura knew she had to get back home or she would get yelled at. "Hey Naruto, I have to go back home now before it gets too dark. We can hang out tomorrow like usual," Sakura told him. Naruto nodded. "Okay, let me walk you home. I don't want you to be by yourself, just to be on the safe side." "You don't have to. You should try to get home yourself," Sakura retorted. Naruto looked down on the ground. He took a deep breath. "I don't have a home to go to," he muttered. Sakura looked shocked by what Naruto had just said. "What? Didn't the Hokage take you in? Or put you in a different orphanage?" Gigi said that he can't adopt me because he's the Hokage and he can't play favorites. All of the other orphanages will just do the same as the last one. So he told me that he knew somebody who would look after me. I met with the person and at first this seemed really nice. But once we left Gigi's office and got back to their place, they started to yell at me and beat me. I was only there for about a week until I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to put up with it, Sakura, I really did, but I just got tired of being hurt for something I don't understand. Naruto explained to Sakura with a few tears falling from his eyes. Sakura was only 4 years old, but she was pretty smart for your typical 4-year-old. She knew that Naruto was a strong person, but a person can only take so much. Not to mention that he's the same age as her. She did the only thing she could think of to help Naruto and gave him a hug. Naruto was a bit surprised by the sudden hug, but he hugged her back. After a couple more minutes he finally stopped crying. Sakura thought of what she could say to make Naruto feel better. She didn't like seeing her friends sad. But for some reason, seeing Naruto cry made her feel more upset than normally. She couldn't explain it, but she just knew that it hurt a lot more seeing Naruto cry than any of her other friends. Don't cry, Naruto. I know it's hard and I can't imagine what you have to go through every day. But please don't cry. I don't like seeing my best friend cry. It makes me feel sad too. Just know that no matter what, I'll always be your best friend. Nothing will ever make me leave you alone by yourself. I don't care what my mother or father or anybody else says. I'll always be there for you. She spoke out the words that popped into her mind. She even held him tighter. Naruto couldn't help but blush. No one has ever said anything like this to him. Sure, the Hokage is nice, but this is something different. All he could do is tighten his hold on her and say, "Thanks, Sakura-chan. Let's hurry up and get you back. I've already kept you here longer than I should have." The two left the park and made their way to Sakura's house. It was only a 15 minutes walk from the park. They made conversation during the walk so it wouldn't be awkward. Eventually they reached the Haruno residence. "Thanks for walking me home, Naruto. But where are you going to stay since you have nowhere to go?" Sakura asked. "The only place that I'm able to calm myself down and feel at peace. Which is the Hokage Monument. The 4th Hokage's head, to be more specific," Naruto answered. "Oh, why there? I mean, it's not a bad place to relax at or anything, I'm just wondering why there of all places." "Well, one day while I was still in the orphanage I was wandering around the village aimlessly. I was kinda sad about something that happened with the caretaker. Not to mention the villagers were not making it any better. So I just ended up on the 4th Hokage's head somehow. It's weird, but whenever I'm upset I just go there and try to calm myself down. It's literally the only place in the villager where I feel completely safe. It's almost as if I'm drawn to it somehow, but like O said, it's weird. I can't really understand it that much since I'm only 4. The blonde explained. But that's where I'm going to be heading for the night. I'll probably be up there for a while tomorrow. So just come up there to find me whenever you want to hang out tomorrow. If I'm not there, then I'll be somewhere in the villager. Knowing you, it won't take you long at all to find me. I don't know how you do it, Sakura. None of the adults can ever catch me no matter what they try. But you for some reason can just find me without even trying." Sakura giggled. "I'm just that cool, you know. Also, I can tell whenever you're close by if I'm paying attention enough. Don't know why it only works with you though. But I should get inside. I'll definitely come see you tomorrow. Maybe we can find some other things to do," Sakura said. "Hey, yeah, maybe we could. But okay, see you tomorrow, Sakura-chan. I'm going to make my way to the monument," Naruto replied. "Bye, Naruto-kun. Be careful, okay? I really don't want to find you in another situation with the villagers tomorrow," she said while waving at him. Naruto gave her a smile that makes Sakura's cheeks turn red. "You got it, Sakura-chan," he voiced while giving her a thumbs up. With that, Naruto made his way to the monument. Sakura laughed at her best friend's response. She was happy she was able to help him out. Naruto deserved at least one person to be there for him. If the whole village was against him, then she will stand by his side no matter what. Sakura opened her front door and walked inside. She took her shoes off, then started to head to her room. When she opened the door, she saw her mother Mebuki Haruno and her father Kazashi Haruno in her room. By the looks on their faces, she could tell they were not happy. She had a good feeling they weren't mad about her being a bit late either. "Sakura, where were you and why were you with that demon boy?" her mother questioned. "I was just at the park, Mom, and his name isn't Demon Boy. It's Naruto, Naruto Uzumaki," she answered. Sakura, how many times do we have to tell you to stay away from that thing? All he's trying to do is trick you into doing whatever it wants. Eventually he'll keep using you until he's tired of you, then he'll probably hurt you. Kazashi spoke. Sakura shook her head. He's not an dad. Naruto is just a kid who wants somebody to be his friend. He doesn't have any friends besides me because every time he's tried to make friends, the kids either call him names like demon or freak, or they'll just flat out ignore him or tell him to leave, saying that he doesn't belong here. Even the adults say mean things to him. They say mean things about his mom and dad even though he's an orphan who doesn't even know his parents. I don't care for the last time, Sakura, stay away from that boy or you'll be in big trouble, do you hear me? Kazashi said with a harsh tone. I can't, Dad. Naruto is my best friend and he knows me the most out of all of my friends, even Ino. Plus I just can't bear to leave him alone like that. He's already alone enough as it is, Sakura retorted. That's it, Mebuki shouted. She walked up to Sakura and started slapping her repeatedly. You will listen to us, do you understand me? We forbid you from hanging around that demon brat. And that's final, Mebuki screeched. Sakura was crying because this is the first time her mother has ever hit her this hard and it hurt worse each time she felt a slap. But she held her ground. No, no, no. I'm not going to stop hanging out with Naruto-kun. He needs me just as much as I need him. I don't care what you have to say, Mom, I'm not going to stop hanging out with him, Sakura yelled. Then you leave us no choice, Kazashi said as he walked up to Sakura and punched her in the face. Mebuki backhanded her with much force. Kazashi punched Sakura in her face again, then he hit her in the stomach. Mebuki kicked her in the stomach to make her fall onto the ground. Sakura was bleeding from her face and mouth, while hot tears were flowing down her face. She was scared that her parents were going to kill her. Never before have they done this to her whenever she kept hanging out with Naruto. Meanwhile, Sakura's aunt Ace Haruno, who was her mother's younger sister, also the better-looking one out of the two, was watching in absolute horror. Sakura, who absolute adorable 4-year-old niece, was getting beaten in a way no child so ever be. She wanted to move when she saw Mebuki slapped her, but she was in too much of a shock about her older sister harming her daughter that she didn't move while they began beating her. However, when she saw Sakura on the ground coughing while getting kicked by her parents, that was enough to get her to move. Ace pushed the door open and yelled out, "What the fuck are you doing to my niece?" The only thing Ace was feeling at that moment was absolute rage. Mebuki looked up and scoffed. My disobedient daughter decided to go against our wishes for the last time. I will not stand by while the heiress of our once strong clan is being tainted by that Kyuubi brat. Plus she needs to learn to always obey the wishes of the ones who brought her into this world. In order for us to get more money brought into the clan, she needs to have rich suitors willing to marry her, Kazashi added. So you're telling me those are the reasons that you believe justifies beating a fucking 4-year-old who can't defend herself? Ace asked in anger. Yes, and as a matter of fact, until she decides to start acting like an obedient child instead of a rebellious little bitch. She is banned from the clan. If she ever wants her way back in, she'll have to beg and beg for forgiveness, Mebuki stated. Sakura heard her mother's words. She had been banned from her clan? All because of her friendship with Naruto? Her parents just disowned her at the age of 4 years old, and to make matters worse, they don't even care what they are doing to her. All Sakura could do was cry. Yes, that's it, cry, you little devil. That'll teach you to disobey us, ag. Before Mebuki could finish those words, she was punched hard in the face. She fell to the ground holding her face. She looked up to see her younger sister looking at her with her fist out. Mebuki could see the rage in her younger sister's eyes. It was nothing there but absolute rage for Mebuki in Aya's eyes. It honestly scared Mebuki since Ace never got this angry before at her. What the hell was that for Ace? Kazashi yelled out. Are you fucking kidding me? You've not only beaten your only daughter as if she was a thief in the night, but you fucking banned her all because she wants to keep her most important friend. Naruto is just a child who wants some fucking attention and not to treat it as if he has a disease. You know what, I've had it with you too. I'm reporting both of you to the Hokage himself. Come on, Sakura, Ace said as she picked up Sakura gently and began to walk out the door. Mebuki and Kazashi both froze when they heard Ace say that she was going to the Hokage. If he got word about this, then both of them may as count themselves as dead. If it's one thing Sarutobi Hiruzen does not tolerate, it's hard to the village and child abuse. Wait Ace. Mebuki yelled. Please don't tell the Hokage, I beg of you please don't. If he finds out about this then both of me and Kazashi are as good as dead. You sure wouldn't want to see you big sister dead would you? Mebuki asked her younger sibling. She knew how Ace was like. She wouldn't dare betray her no matter what. You know Mebuki, maybe I would be willing to consider that if I hadn't been noticing how you two been treating Sakura lately. All the constant yelling and belittling. I really tried to not do anything about it and just hope it passes over, but this time you've both gone too far. Sakura will be scarred by this for the rest of her life. A 4-year-old girl shouldn't have had to go through this. No 4-year-old should. I love Sakura as if she was my own daughter. I will not stand by and not take action any longer. Sakura deserves better than that. My poor baby girl will forever remember her parents in a negative light. Now if you'll excuse me. With that Ace had left with Sakura in her arms. Once Ace had gotten the blood cleaned up off of Sakura's face, she made her way to the Hokage Tower. Both Mebuki and Kazashi were scared out of their minds right now. All of their plans were out of the drain. They knew they couldn't flee because they were only civilians and shinobi would easily catch them without breaking a sweat. Plus the shinobi in the Haruno clan were very slim. Ace was walking while holding Sakura in her arms, whispering words like, "It'll be okay," and, "They won't hurt you anymore." Once they reached the tower, they entered and went straight to the Hokage's office. The secretary had seen Ace and a very distraught Sakura. "Hello miss, is the Hokage seeing anyone right now?" Ace asked. "Now he's actually free right now. Go right ahead and knock on the door," the secretary said. "Thank you," Ace voiced as she knocked on the door. She waited until she heard, "Come on." Once she entered she shut the door behind her. Hiruzen looked up to see Ace Haruno holding what seems to be a scared Sakura Haruno, the Haruno clan heiress. He noticed something had happened so he decided to speak. "Well, what do I owe this pleasure to see you Ace-san? Is there something the matter?" Hiruzen asked. "Yes, there is something wrong. My idiotic sister and stupid husband has beaten the daylights out of my niece Sakura. They even banned her from the clan." Ace spoke out. Hiruzen's eyes widened a bit at the news. He had known that the Haruno clan head and his wife were very greedy people. Just two civilians who think they can ease their way into anything that'll make them even richer, although he had never known them to be violent towards their child. "Let me tell you what has been going on, Hokage-sama. Kazashi and Mebuki as of lately has been becoming very violent towards Sakura. At first it was only a little bit of yelling, nothing more than a parent punishing their child. However, it quickly turned into full-blown arguments. Both would yell and belittle Sakura. Mebuki started to get upset at Sakura for petty reasons as to why was she born with pink hair or why is she bothering her. You know, Sakura would just ask her mother questions like any 4-year-old child would do. However, Mebuki would get fed up with it quickly and just start yelling at Sakura or even slap her once. Kazashi would do the same thing as Mebuki. As clan head he wanted to make sure the Haruno clan was a wealthy one. But he saw Sakura as a failure who would never get any worthy suitors. Luckily Sakura wouldn't be home whenever they would talk really bad about her. I would normally try to tell them that they shouldn't say such things about their daughter. No parent should say such things about their child. Today, however, Sakura was hanging out with that boy named Naruto Uzumaki. I believe they started hanging out with each other a few months ago. From what I've heard, they're best friends. Sakura is Naruto's only friend while Naruto is Sakura's most important friend. Kazashi and Mebuki would constantly tell Sakura to stop hanging around Naruto, but she would never listen. She would constantly defend Naruto. Today, however, both Kazashi and Mebuki finally revealed their true selves to their daughter. They told her to stop hanging out with Naruto again when she came home. Once again Sakura said no and it led to her getting slapped numerous of times by her mother and punched in the face by her father a few times. She got punched and kicked in the stomach and they started stomping on her while she was on the ground. I wanted to stop it before it got too bad, but I just couldn't move. I was too shocked by what was going on to even move. I couldn't believe those two would go this far. Then, just when I thought they had went the farthest, they decided to ban her after I confronted them. As soon as they did, I hit Mebuki dead in the face. Ace explained her story with tears in her eyes. Hiruzen was absolutely livid. He couldn't believe those two would cause so harm to this child. They didn't deserve to be parents. Hell, they didn't deserve to be head of a clan. They deserve nothing more than death. I will make sure to handle this, Ace. You have my word those two will pay for their crimes, Hiruzen stated. Ace nodded while Sakura looked up. Does this mean that you'll have to kill my parents, Hokage-sama? Sakura asked. Both Hiruzen and Ace were shocked that Sakura asked this question. They will have to pay for their crimes, little Sakura. I honestly don't know myself what I'm going to do with them. But believe me when I say it will have to be very severe. Child abuse is something that is not tolerated in this village. But rest assured when I say you won't have to worry about them harming you again. Hiruzen said in a soft tone. Well, Hokage-sama, I think it's best if I stayed banished for some time. Sakura said. Hiruzen and Ace were once again surprised by this young girl. And why is that, little Sakura? He asked. Well, it's about my best friend Naruto. Sakura answered. Naruto. What about him? Sarutobi questioned. You see, Naruto doesn't have a family or a home to go to. None of the other kids play with him. All of the adults say mean things about him. I don't like seeing Naruto be by himself all the time. And I know I can't invite him to stay at the compound because something just tells me it wouldn't sit right with some people. And Naruto won't do it because he doesn't trust people that much. He trusts me and I think you too somewhat, Hokage-sama. But he won't feel safe inside of our compound. So I think what he needs is someone who will completely understand him and sees the things that he actually goes through. I think I'll be able to relate to him more now because of what my parents did and I was banished. If I stay out of the streets with him, I'll be able to understand him even more. Naruto is my best friend, so I want to do whatever I can for him. The best way is to understand what he goes through day to day. Sakura told him. Hiruzen had to admit that Sakura was very intelligent for only being 4 years old. He knew that he couldn't risk Naruto becoming so distant towards the village to the point where he would leave without a care in the world. As of right now, the only solid bond he had keeping him here was Sakura, by the way everything sounds. Ace on the other hand. But Sakura-chan, even though what you say is very true and I'm proud of you for thinking that far. You are only 4 years old. I can't just let you stay in the streets willingly. I know I'm only 4, Auntie-Ace. But I also don't want to stay at the compound anymore for a while. After everything that's happened, I feel like I'll only think of the bad memories all the time I'm there. I think this banishment will also help me grow and humble myself for the future. If I'm to still be the clan head eventually in the future, then I need good character, I think, or that's what it said in one of the books I read. Sakura voiced. Hiruzen raised his eyebrow hearing this. How often do you read books, Sakura-chan? Sakura put a finger to her chin and thought about it. I say almost every day cause I like learning about things. This girl will be a genius by the time she is even allowed to enroll into the academy. That's impressive, Sakura. Very well indeed, he stated. Sakura blushes at his praise. I've come to a decision. I'll allow you to be with Naruto if you would like to, Sakura. Normally there's no way I would agree to this. But you drive a hard bargain. I'm sure you've heard from Naruto that he's been on the streets for a while now due to his problems at the orphanages. So I was planning on getting him his own apartment. It's a working process because of so many other things going on right now. But I'll try to have it ready for you too as soon as I find something available. Hokage-sama, you can't be serious. She's only 4. And she's an heiress. She could get killed outside in the streets at night. Ace tried to counter. I have an Anbu at all times watching over Naruto, Ace-san, believe me when I say they will be safe. I'll even add an extra guard due to Sakura being there. I can't really provide any money to them until I get them a place to stay. I know this is all sounds crazy, but I think this could have some impact for the future. For the Haruno clan and for Naruto and Sakura themselves. Now Sakura, please go find Naruto and tell him whatever you want to tell him. Sarutobi said gently. Sakura nodded. Okay, oh yeah, I have another question. Do you know why Naruto is hated? Sarutobi and Ace both looked the other way. Sakura picked up on it but didn't say anything. I'm afraid all I can tell you is that Naruto's pranks have caused some villagers to act ill towards him. But remember when I say when Naruto finds out the truth, I'm sure you'll find out right along with him. Sarutobi answered. Sakura looked confused at his answer but just turned around and left. She needed to go find Naruto and tell him everything that happened. As the Pinkett left, the two adults were left in the office. Ace was still not entirely convinced about this whole situation. Sarutobi could see it by her facial expression. So he tried to convince her to trust him. Look, Ace, I know this isn't the ideal situation, believe me, I know. Under normal circumstances, I would never allow such a thing to happen to child. Let alone a 4-year-old girl and boy. But this particular development may have a lot more pros than cons in the future. Sarutobi said. What do you mean? She asked. I think it's safe to say Naruto doesn't know he's a Jinchuriki yet. I'm sure he'll end up finding out sooner than I want him to. We cannot afford to lose him due to the villagers' ignorance. They fail to see the boy as a simple container and not the demon himself. All they see is that Naruto is the demon Kyuubi itself. Which is completely idiotic. Sakura has brought up very valid points that a girl her age shouldn't even be thinking about. Let alone reading as much as she does. I think it's safe to say that it's something special about that young lady. Never have I seen a child so young but so intelligent. It's quite a rarity. She says she wants to humble herself for the near future for whenever she decides to return to the clan. She'll be a great clan head if she keeps studying like that. But she's also the key to keeping Naruto from abandoning the village. If she's as close to him as she says she is, then she is the only one capable of gaining a stronger bond with the boy. I'm not thinking of using him as a weapon or anything, but we still can't afford to lose the 9 tails. I'm going to give them an apartment as soon as I can with an allowance that should last at least 2 weeks. They'll receive the allowance every 2 weeks to spend on whatever they will need. And you can't blame the young girl for not wanting to return home after what she's was just put through. Sarutobi finished. Ace sighed. Yes, I know, Hokage-sama. I'm just worried about Sakura, that's all. I mean, she's only 4 and has already had to go through things like this. I love her as if she were my own daughter. Well, at least she knows she'll always be able to count on you. While the two were talking, what they didn't know that Sakura was still by the doorway. She kept quiet and listened to the whole conversation. It confused her as to what they were saying about Naruto. But then she remembered reading a book about the 4th Hokage and the 9-tailed fox fighting. The book said that the 4th killed the fox. But Sakura thought if what she just heard was right. Then it confirmed the reason why she heard the villagers always being mean to Naruto. If Naruto contains the fox from being set free in village, then that necessarily means he's protecting the people from the demon. Why would you want to hurt the person who is protecting you? It just didn't make sense to Sakura. She supposed that she should tell this to Naruto. It was about him after all. Naruto, she called out. Naruto sat up and was surprised to see Sakura standing there. He noticed the look on her face and saw some red stains on her clothes. He stood up and ran towards Sakura. He hugged her tightly. Sakura sighed and hugged him back. She began crying to let it all out. All Naruto did was stay quiet and keep hugging her. He was confused on what made Sakura come out here around this time. He wanted to know what made her upset. Then he wants to know why does he smell blood on her. So many questions running through his mind. Sakura, his best friend, was in pain. After a while Sakura stopped crying and looked up towards Naruto. Sorry about that, Naruto. It's been a rough night so far and you were the only one I know I could go to. Sakura said. Wait, what? What happened, Sakura? Why do you smell like blood and why are you here? Shouldn't you be at home? Naruto asked. I've been banished from my clan, Naruto. Sakura said. That news hit Naruto hard. He couldn't believe that Sakura was banished. Was it because she was always with him? How could they banish a 4-year-old girl? He was about to question her more, but Sakura put a finger on his lips. Before you ask me a bunch of questions, let me just tell you everything that has happened, and I mean everything, Naruto. I even found out something about you that you need to know. With that, Sakura told Naruto everything that had occurred. It took Sakura about 45 minutes to tell him everything. Once she was done, she looked to see Naruto was shocked by it all. He was also angry. So you're choosing to stay banished because of me and you don't want to be there anymore. And I'm supposedly this thing called a Jinchuriki to the 9-tailed fox that attacked our village. That's why everybody hates me. For something I had no say in whatsoever. How is that even fair, and it explains why I'm always getting called demon. Naruto voiced. But Sakura, are you sure about not going back to your house? Sakura nodded. Positive. I don't think it's best for me to go back there yet. It'll only remind me of what happened and I don't want to deal with it right now. Besides, I told you, Naruto, I'm not leaving your side. So you'll have to put up with me whether you like it or not. The Pinkett said while she stuck out her tongue at him. Naruto smiled hearing her words. He honestly was happy that Sakura was his best friend and most trusted person. He made a vow mentally that he will always protect Sakura. I guess I can understand that. Your parents are jerks for doing that to you. I swear if I see them I'll kick their asses for doing that to you. Naruto said. Sakura turned her head the other way. I don't think you'll get that chance, Naruto. Lord Hokage is probably going to put them in jail for a long time or kill them, but I think it's going to be the second option. I can see that he didn't want to just say it straight up to a 4-year-old girl. Oh well, I'll just have to beat up anybody else who try to hurt you. But Sakura, please be careful. The villagers will probably try to hurt you too, since they are going to be seeing you with me a lot more. So if they decide to hurt me, I want you to run to safety, okay? Naruto said. Sakura shook her head. Nope, it's no way I'm leaving you alone like that. They'll just have to beat both of us black and blue because I'm not leaving you alone. Sakura said with determination. But Sakura. Naruto stopped when he saw the look in her eyes. There was nothing he could say to change her mind. He sighed. Okay, fine, let's just hope the old man finds somewhere for us to stay quick. Time had passed. The two kids had been homeless for over a year now. They would stay in the red light district since the people there was surprisingly nicer than the ones in the rest of the village. Sure, it may have had a few criminals here and there, but it wasn't so bad. The workers who worked in the brothels or clubs were always nice to Sakura and Naruto. They would give them food most of the time and they would let them clean themselves in the back rooms where the showers were located. The two couldn't go into many restaurants due to people shunning them away. They also had to still run away from angry villagers from time to time. It was really bad around Naruto's birthday. It got so bad that both of them took a hard beating, but luckily the Anbu got there before it could get any worse. They didn't want to go to the hospital because Sakura didn't want to worry Ace. Naruto didn't want to deal with the doctors or nurses looking at him with glares. Sakura's and Naruto's friendship has grown stronger throughout the year. They know everything about one another. They will do anything to protect one another. Both of the kids knew that in order to protect each other they would have to get strong. And the only way they could think on how to get strong was by becoming a ninja. So they decided to enter the academy the first chance they get. Today the two were just running around the training fields. Sakura told Naruto that she read a book about ninja one day while visiting her aunt. She told him that ninja train but conditioning themselves for prolonged battles. They needed the stamina to perform jutsu or even keep up in hand-to-hand combat. The book also said a ninja must have a smart and strong mind. There are some dangerous things in the world. You have to be able to stomach some gruesome acts. It may go against your moral code, but a ninja is meant to kill. There is just no other way around it. Naruto for the most part agreed. The killing part he wasn't too sure about. He knew he would have to do it if he wanted to be a ninja. But he was still a kid and killing others doesn't sit right with him at the moment. He doubts it ever will, but he knows he'll have to do it whether he wants to or not. Especially if Sakura is in danger. Sakura was in a similar situation. She was only a 5-year-old girl. A girl who shouldn't have to worry about things like this yet. She knew that being a ninja it's required to kill in order to protect your comrades. It just didn't seem right taking a life of another human. However, she thought about if Naruto was in trouble. She would do anything in order to help him. And if killing the person is what is needed in order to save her best friend, then she will do it without a second thought. In time she knew as she grow older then she would be able to process the subject better. Besides, Sakura knows that Naruto would do the same for her if the time called for it. After the finish running laps around the training fields, the next exercise was push-up and sit-ups. Once Sakura caught her breath, they began doing their sets. Soon both finished, then decided it was time to figure out how to use their chakra. Sakura read in a different book which was about chakra. That it's created when two forms of energy known as spiritual and mental energy. When the two combine, a person is able to perform a jutsu. Chakra is life energy that a ninja needs in order to survive. Not every person has the same amount of chakra either. Some people can have small reserves or average. If you work on your stamina continuously, you can increase your reserves. Some people can have a huge amount of chakra. Normally those are strong people like Kages or other strong ninja. Naruto tried his best to understand what Sakura was explaining to him. For the most part he understood. The two sat in the field and mediated. They made the ram hand sign to aid in them in unlocking their chakra. After about 10 minutes, Sakura was able to unlock her chakra. It took Naruto another 10 minutes to finally unlock his. However, Naruto was met with quite the surprise. When he opened his eyes, he was met with a sewer setting. It confused him. How the hell did I get here? I was just mediating with Sakura-chan. He said to himself. He figured he might as well walk toward what looked like a way out. Once he got there he was met with a big cage. It was a paper on it that said, "Seal," on it. He noticed it was a shadow inside the cage. He could hear something breathing from inside it too. Naruto walked up a bit further and saw it was something really inside of it. And Red Eye had opened and started staring at him. Naruto jumped back to see the thing inside was a giant fox. Well, look what we have here. Kurama said. Naruto decided to speak even though he was intimidated. Who are you? He asked. Tisk, come on Kit, you mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Use you head of yours for once. That Pinkett mentioned me to you over a year ago. Kurama replied. Naruto thought it over for a second and instantly remembered. Wait, so you're the nine-tailed fox? There you go Kit, and yes, that's what you humans call me. So tell me this, brat, do you hate me for how your life has been so far? Kurama said. He wanted to see if the boy would react like any other human. Naruto thought up on how his life has been since he could remember. The hate he had to endure. The beatings he had to take. The beatings Sakura had to take just for being with him. Did he hate the fox? I should hate you with for everything that's happened to me. But I just can't do that. Naruto spoke. Kurama was a bit surprised at his response. Why? It will be perfectly understandable if you do. I'm the reason why you're hated in your entire village. Those humans are only hurting you because of me. Because I'm already irritated with the villagers for how they treat me and Sakura. I don't need to add more of that to someone who I doubt asked to be in this situation along with me. Plus, if it wasn't for you, it's possible me and Sakura wouldn't have become this close. She's my best friend. I'm really happy I met her. Also, it's pretty hard for a 5-year-old who will be 6 in a couple months to hate something he's never even seen. Another thing is that Sakura-chan is smart. She teaches me a lot of things. So she also told me that it's stupid for the villagers to hate me because I'm not the fox, I'm just a container. Naruto explained. Kurama was quite impressed with Naruto's knowledge. From Naruto's explanation, it's mostly because of Sakura being the genius she is. It only makes sense she would teach Naruto the same thing she learns. They have been together every day for quite some time. He guessed some of that genius rubbed off on Naruto since it only makes sense for him to pick up on things. Considering who his parents are. It's hard for me to believe I'm actually about to say this. But I respect you, answer Kit. You're not like the typical human who would choose the easy way to just hate. It only proves the saying. Humans hate when they don't understand. Now do you want to know who your parents are? Kurama asked. Naruto eyes widen at this question. Why, you know who my parents are? He asked timidly. Of course, I've been around for a very long time, Kit. A lot longer than you think. Besides, I was there to hear their last words. Your mother was my container before you. I'm not going to tell you all about them or anything. Maybe when you're older I will either tell you more or you'll just figure out yourself. I will tell you a couple things though. First off, your mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki. She was the last princess and ruler of the Uzushiogakure and the land of the Whirlpool. Just know that her clan are a very prestigious clan. On par or even more so than the Uchiha clan. Your father name was Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, also known as the Yellow Flash. Now his clan wasn't that prestigious or anything. Actually he was an orphan just like you. But your father was a very strong yet annoying man. Well, he was more annoying to me, but that's not the important. Anyways, both of your parents were very strong humans. Your mother was known as the red hot-blooded habanero. She was a force to reckon with. Me and her actually got along. She was the first human to ever want to befriend me. At first I thought it was just pure foolishness on her part. And that it was a perfect opportunity to break out, but two things stopped me. First is that the seal was a very strong seal, it was not easy to weaken. To be honest, if your mother was still alive, I would still be stuck in there trying to weaken it. The second is that I grew to like having her as company. I learned how to accept her as a friend. I couldn't really believe it at the time. Me, the strongest of all, tailed best befriended a mere human. Kurama said. Naruto listened to every word that was spoken. It was hard to believe after all this time he would finally found about who his parents were. He thought this might have been a dream, but deep down inside something told him that this was the absolute truth. It only makes sense because when you look at the picture of the fourth Hokage in the Hokage office, you can see the resemblance between him and his father. Naruto had noticed it before but thought it was just a coincidence. Even Sakura had mentioned it one time. He couldn't wait to see Sakura again and tell her about this. Wow, my mom was really a Jinchuriki like me. My day is really the fourth Hokage. And I'm apparently royalty in a different country. This is a lot to take in. Naruto spoke. Believe me, Kit, that's only the tip of the iceberg. You were right when you said that I didn't want to be in this situation again. I wanted my freedom back. Surprisingly, I was able to get it back, but it wasn't by my own will. Just know that some masked man came on the night of your birth. Your mother's seal was weakened because she was giving birth to you. So once you were born, he striked and kidnapped your mother and broke the seal. I don't know how, but he manipulated me with his Sharingan. So he ended up making me attack your village and made me hurt both your mother and father in the process. I was just so angry once I realized that I was manipulated so easily that I slammed my hand down in frustration. But I stopped because both Minato and Kushina stopped me since my hand was going towards you. I didn't realize you were right there at the time. I did want freedom, but I didn't want Kushina to die in the process of it. So it was agreed upon us that I would be sealed into you. Your father believes that you will be able to master my power one day and protect the village. I've regretted my actions ever since that day. I know Kushina said that she didn't hold it against me, but it's hard for me to get over. So you, as her son, I wanted to see how you would respond to me when you first met me. I was waiting for you to unlock your chakra for a while now so we can finally communicate. Your answer earlier confirmed to me you truly are your mother's son. You have a combination of both of them in you. Kurama told him. Oh man, that stupid masked man ruined everything. I swear if I ever come across him again I'm going to kick his ass. Naruto stated with slight anger in his voice. Calm down, Kit. If you get too angry you may leak some of my chakra. Your body isn't ready to handle it yet. I can only do so much for you until your body grows and gets stronger. Plus it's a real good chance that you won't be in control of your actions. Meaning you'll definitely end up hurting that Sakura brat you care so much about. Kurama said. Naruto instantly dropped his anger after hearing that. Yeah, I don't want that to happen, thanks Kurama. Naruto told him with a smile. Hey, whatever. That pink-haired brat has caught my attention ever since the day you met her. I won't go into too much detail, but I want to talk to her the next time you decide you want to speak to me. I can tell she's a special one. The fox said. Okay, but how am I supposed to do that? I can't necessarily bring her in here, can I? The blonde asked. You could, but I have a better way. Listen, you see the seal paper on this cage? Tear off about a bit of a corner piece. Don't worry, I won't be able to try to escape. Even if I wanted to break free. I can't, because if I do then you'll most likely end up dying. You have a strong life force, but your body isn't matured enough to handle that kind of strain of chakra being pulled from you. Another thing is I promised Kushina I would look after you. It's a way of me apologizing to her for killing her. Besides, you've piqued my interest, Kit. I'm sure you'll run into some very entertaining experiences in your life. I also want to see how that Pinkett will turn out in the future. Kurama reassured him. Okay, I trust you, Kurama. But how will I get up there to do so? The blonde questioned. Just leave that to me. Kurama said as the water began to rise around Naruto's waist and lifted him up into the air. This is freaking sweet. I swear I hope this isn't just some crazy dream. Naruto said with stars in his eyes. The water stopped at the tag. Naruto reached out and tore a bit of a corner piece off. Once he was done, the water slowly lowered back him to the ground. Okay, so I did that. Now what, Kurama? Naruto asked. Hey, now I can appear in your world but in a smaller form. I won't be at full power or anywhere close to it, so I won't alert any humans nearby. I guess you can say I'll just look like a normal size fox to you humans. This way I'll be able to help both you and the girl out in your training to become strong. Kurama explained to Naruto. Oh, that's cool. So how will I be able to, bring you out? Naruto wondered. Either you tell me to come out or I can just come out myself whenever I want. Remember, the seal isn't broken. It'll take more than just tearing off the seal to break out of here. Plus your father came up with a backup plan if things ever got too out of hand that even I can't fix it. I would advise you not to mess with the seal any more than this though. At least not until you get the key to the seal and a better understand of seals. Also, don't try to talk out loud to me while you're with a group of random people. It'll draw unnecessary attention. Now go, you've been here for quite some time now and the girl is getting worried. Ask her if she wants to meet me. If she doesn't, then I'll wait until a later time. If she does, I'll just come out. Kurama voiced. Okay, well, knowing Sakura, I'm sure she'll want to meet you. It's not every day a really giant powerful fox wants to talk to you. See you soon, Kurama. Naruto then disappeared from his mindscape. Kurama had a small smile crept on his face. Hey, he's just like you, Kushina. I can see it already. He may look like Minato, but his personality leans more toward you. I wonder if he'll develop that verbal tick you had. But I promise I will make him strong. I'm just glad he appeared here sooner than I expected. I can now get the early jump and train him before all of those villagers try to sabotage him. I don't trust them one bit. That pink-haired girl needs to be trained too. I can tell the kid cares more about protecting her than himself. And it's vice versa for her as well. Besides, I can feel the spirit of that girl. I doubt she knows just how special she is yet. Hopefully she'll let me tell her. On the outside world, Naruto opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was Sakura looking at him with a smile and tears in her eyes. She instantly tackled him into a hug. Naruto did nothing but hug her back. Eventually Sakura got off of him and sat right in front of the boy. Naruto, are you okay? I've been calling your name for the last 45 minutes. I was so scared that something happened to you. Sakura said while wiping the tears from her eyes. Naruto smiled at his best friend. Sakura always reminded him that it was somebody who cared a lot about him. I'm fine, Sakura, but you won't believe what had happened to me. Naruto voiced. What happened? She asked. I finally met the fox. Naruto said with excitement in his voice. Sakura gasped. You did? Was he big and mean? Did he try to eat you? Sakura questioned. Naruto laughed at his best friend's questions. No, dummy, he was actually pretty nice. Nicer than you expect. He's been watching me and you this whole time. And so much more. He even knows my parents. He did? Sakura asked with shock in her voice. Naruto began to tell her everything that Kurama told him. Sakura had her full 100% attention onto him. She always wondered if Naruto would ever be able to talk to the fox inside of him. Who would have thought that he actually can? Once Naruto was finished with his story, Sakura just sat there quietly. It was a lot to take in. And according to Naruto, the fox said that was just the tip of the ice. What really interested her is that the fox wanted to actually talk to her. A normal 5-year-old would be too scared to meet a demonic fox. However, Sakura was not normal. Hanging around Naruto does that to you after a while. So Kurama wants to talk to me. Not that I would ever pass up this chance. But why? Sakura wondered. Naruto just shrugged. I don't know, he just said he wanted to meet you. He did seem pretty interested in you. So maybe it's something important, or maybe he just wants you as a friend. That would be so cool to have a giant demonic fox as a friend, wouldn't you agree? The pink cat asked. Of course, anybody who doesn't want one is just an idiot. It's just that simple, Naruto added. So is he just supposed to come out, or? Sakura asked. Before Naruto could respond, a pop was heard. Some white smoke was in the air for a couple seconds. Standing on all fours was Kurama in a miniature version of himself. Everything was pretty much the same besides his size and number of tails. Instead of 9, he only had 1. Kurama looked up to see the two kids staring at him. He noticed Naruto was looking at Sakura to see her reaction. Sakura had a tint of red on her cheeks with her mouth open. She was like that for about 20 seconds before she yelled out. Kawaii. Oh my god, Naruto, can I pet him please? He looks so cute. I just know his fur has to be soft. Come on Naruto, let me go pet him. She said excitingly. Don't ask me, ask him. It's his fur, not mine. Naruto replied. I'll let you touch my fur if you desire to so bad. Kurama said. Sakura giggled like any little kid would and ran up to let his fur. It feels so soft and it's very thick. Sakura could do this for hours, she thought. Kurama didn't want to admit it, but he did enjoy being rubbed. Kushina used to do it for him since she knew that he liked it. Well, it seems you have taken a great interest into my fur. But I'm afraid you'll have to wait until I'm done talking because I want you to pay attention, Sakura. Kurama said her. Sakura responded by nodding. She moved her hand and sat right next to the fox. Naruto moved a bit closer. Good, now what I will be explaining is information about both of your clans. I will be going into detail, so please ask questions if you don't understand something. I know you kids are smart, especially you Sakura. But you kids are still too young to understand everything. So I will start with Sakura's clan. What's so special about my clan? We are barely a shinobi clan from what I hear. She asked. That's because before you were born, whoever was clan head wasn't a ninja. They were a regular civilian. So they knew little of the ninja world and deviated from teaching the clan about their history. The reason I know this is because Naruto's mother Kushina was good friend to Haruno named Mebuki. Kurama replied. Naruto and Sakura both were surprised. Their moms knew each other. How much of a coincidence is that? They were good friends before Mebuki started to change. She let the power of running a clan get to her head. She wanted to have a marriage contract between you two, but Kushina backed out of that idea at the last minute. Once she realized just how much Mebuki changed. Because of her, many of the children of the clan don't know about the history of their clan. Sakura, I'm going to tell you all of what I know about the Haruno clan. When shinobis were in charge, your clan were feared by others because of the abilities you possessed. Typically it would be male ninjas who were the strongest of their clan. It was women for the Haruno. The kunoichi in that clan were a force to be reckoned with. The Harunos have the ability of good chakra control. However, only the females can have perfect chakra control. Males have near perfect but still not perfect chakra control. Women also have the bigger chakra reserves, surprisingly. While usually a Haruno would start off with small reserves, they eventually grow bigger, but women no matter what will always have perfect chakra control. They also are the better fighters. Haruno women are known for having a temper, and that anger can give them strength if it's directed right. But that isn't what made them feared in the past. It was the Kekkei Genkai they possessed. Kurama told the kids. Wait, so the females in my clan were the ones who were the strongest. And my clan has a Kekkei Genkai? Sakura questioned. Yes, but you see, in your clan's case, only one in every generation is able to activate the bloodline. Also, males cannot have it. It only happens with a female since they are born with perfect chakra control. Without having absolute perfect control, you will never be able to activate it. Believe me when I say that this bloodline is so rare that only 3 in your clan's history has been gifted with it. I was actually able to do battle with 2 of them. Back before I was sealed into my first container, that is. 2 of them even fought against the first and second Hokage. It was said to be a draw each time. However, the place you call the academy don't teach you about the real history. Even your clan has seemed to forgotten your history, but you young Sakura, I believe you may be the one who will change all of that. Kurama said to her. Wow. So my clan really isn't a weak shinobi clan after all. Sakura spoke out. Of course not. Your clan is a prestigious clan that is on par with Hyuga, Uchiha, Senju and Uzumaki clans. It just that the other clans produced more shinobi as of recent because your clan's sudden fall off. It's been well over 30 to almost 40 years since anyone of your clan was seen with that bloodline. But now it is seemed to have returned after so many years. Kurama explained. So my clan is that prestigious, huh? Well, that's cool, but what do you mean the bloodline has returned? Sakura asked. It is as I said, it has returned. It is said that the spirit of those who possess that specific bloodline gets passed on to the next generation. If one is capable enough, they are able to sense that spirit. That is what I'm sensing from you, Sakura. You have the bloodline that was lost to your clan for many years. The fourth person to ever have it. I knew it was something special about you after the first few times you spent hanging with Naruto. You reminded me of your predecessors so much. I didn't want to jump the gun, but after this last year you've spent with Naruto, I have all the confirmation I need. Congratulations, Kit. It is said that each successor is said to be stronger than all of their predecessors. I can say I'm glad you met Naruto at a young age. I look forward to seeing how strong you can become. Since I'm a very, very old fox, I can teach you about your bloodline and clan. I can also know how it's activated, but you're not ready for that yet. You need to train a lot more plus grow as well. It's the same as how I told Naruto he won't be able to try to master my chakra until he is older. Kurama finished explaining. Sakura took in all of the information she was just told. It's not every day you meet a demon fox that tells you about your clan and tells you that he knows you have a bloodline. Not to mention it sounds like a strong one at that. I don't even know what to say. It's a lot to take in. I'm glad to know some unknown history about my clan. A Kekkei Genkai at that. The Pinkett said in a shocked tone. What a Kekkei Genkai? Naruto asked. Naruto, don't you remember when I explained this to you? Sakura sighed. No, not really. Naruto shrugged. Sakura sighed once again at how her best friend can be forgetful at times. It's an anomaly in a person's DNA that allowed them to use unique capabilities. Why do you think the Hyuga and Uchiha are royalty in the village? It's because of their Kekkei Genkais. Both possess Dujutsu, which are very rare to have. Kekkei Genkais are rare enough to have as it is, but Dujutsus are a very rare type. That's why many villages envy Konoha, cause we have actual full-on clans of such rare types. You can also have body types of Kekkei Genkais. As well as nature transformation types. Like the first Hokages would release, for example. Sakura lectured him. Oh, that, yeah, I think I do remember you talking about that. Naruto responded. Of course you would after explain it to you. Sakura facepalmed herself. Kurama chuckled. You kits are quite entertaining. I think I'll enjoy teaching you about life. Now Naruto, I'm going to tell you a bit more about the Uzumaki clan. So listen up. Naruto nodded while Sakura also paid attention. Naruto, the Uzumakis were known for their sealing techniques along with their strong life forces and massive chakra reserves. It is said that once a tailed beast is extracted that the user dies, however your mother was actually to survive the extraction. It's possible if the circumstances were different that she could have survived. The Uzumakis were also highly skilled Kenjutsu users. After spending many years by being sealed within two different Uzumakis, I've learned a lot about them. Trust me, kid, I'm going to teach you all about your clan. I even know the location of a few scrolls belonging to both of your clans. Now the Uzumakis were also distant blood relatives to the Senju. This means you also have Senju blood running through your veins. I can name a few legendary people were Senjus. The first Hokage had developed a Kekkei Genkai called Wood Release. It made him one of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. The second Hokage could produce massive amounts of water when it wasn't a lakes or rivers nearby. Your clan was also the very top in sealing arts. They were the most powerful seal masters ever. The Uzumakis were so feared that 3 of the Great 5 villages teamed up to exterminate that clan. Konoha were very strong allies with the Uzumakis. They were one of the founding clans of Konoha. However, they were held up by a surprise attack during one of the great shinobi wars. By the time that reached Uzushiogakure, the clan were already defeated. It is said that there may be a few remaining members somewhere in the world. However, you are the last one of the royal family of the land of Whirlpool. Your mother was the princess, then became the queen. That makes you the prince, kid. One of these days I'll take you and Sakura to visit the remains of the land. Who knows, you may or may not come across something valuable there. Kurama finished his explanation. Naruto was amazed at the fact that he's royalty. Yet he gets treated like trash. All because of the villagers refuse to look at him as an actual person. Damn Kurama, I'm sure glad that I was able to finally meet you. I wouldn't have known any of this if it weren't for you. No one would have told me a thing, Naruto said. Not many people know of your heritage kit. I believe it's a few people of the older generation who know of it. But the village as a whole doesn't. I believe that old Goat and Hokage believe it was best to keep that a secret so you wouldn't be put in danger. However, that doesn't even matter since you are constantly in danger in your own village. Listen kid, I want to train you too, but I don't want to do it here. I want you too to see more of the world and learn about it. I can teach you how to protect yourself and how to be stronger than what this village would teach you. I know how your ninja system works. Normally you humans become shinobi at the age of 12 or 13. You too will be 12, I'm assuming. What I want is for you two to go talk to that old goat and tell him that I want him to allow you two to leave the village. It won't be now, but it will be when both of you are 6 years old, so that gives us a few months. The best I can teach you for now is how to utilize your chakra. Sakura should be natural at this, however you Naruto will have some difficulty. Your chakra reserves are already massive considering you're in Uzumaki. You're also in Jinchuriki, so that only adds on top of what you already have. There isn't many people who can have that much chakra at their disposal. It's impossible to attain. People can train themselves, their bodies, to develop their reserves to very large amounts. You however take it to a whole different level. That's why it will be difficult for you to learn how to properly control your chakra. You may be able to do jutsus, but you'll be wasting unnecessary chakra if you don't have good control. That extra chakra you waste can come in handy during battle. I don't trust those academy teachers with your training. I believe they may even try to sabotage you. Don't worry, by the time I'm done with you too, the academy will be child's play. You will return for the final year of the academy so you can get acquainted with other humans around your age, Kurama said to the kids. I don't know Kurama. I don't think the Hokage will just let two kids just go like that, Sakura interrupted. Oh, believe me, he will. Naruto will just tell him that I said he either agrees to it, or I can just take over his body and make a run for it with both of you. He doesn't have much of a choice considering that this could be a huge benefit to the village. You both are future clan heads of prestigious clans. You need to be strong to survive in this world, Kurama responded. Naruto sighed. All right Kurama, we can go and try to convince him. If what you say is true, then we need to learn how to protect ourselves. Me and Sakura want to be able to protect each other. Are you ready to go to Gigi's office, Sakura-chan? He asked. Sakura thought this over for a few moments. I guess so. I can't just not go through it after everything Kurama just told us. Besides, I've read in books that the world is a big place. It'll be fun to be able to travel even if we are young, she said. Kurama grinned. Good, now I'm going to go back inside the seal. It's not a good idea for me to just be following you guys around the village. It'll draw too much attention. I will come back out after you get to the old goat's office, and with that Kurama disappeared. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other. The two kids smiled at one another. Well Sakura-chan, it seems things are going to become a lot more entertaining for us, Naruto said. I agree Naruto-kun. The pinkette responded as she stood up. She and the blonde left the training grounds to make their way to the tower. Naruto and Sakura were making their way to the tower. It was annoying how they had to deal with the glares of the villagers almost everywhere they went. Over time they have gotten used to them, but that didn't mean that it wasn't annoying. They reached the tower and went straight to the office. Neither said a word to the secretary, they just barged right in. Once they opened the door, Naruto and Sakura saw that the Hokage was sitting at his desk. There also was a lady who wore a green haori with kanji on the back of it. It stood for Gamble. Under it was a gray kimono-style blouse with no sleeves. Dark bluish-gray obi that matches her pants. The lady wore black high heels and also looked to be around late 30s to early 40s. She also has blonde hair with brown eyes. Hiruzen was surprised to see the two young kids so suddenly. Naruto and Sakura, what can I do for you two? He asked. Naruto looked at Sakura, who nodded her head at him. The blonde closed the door, then turned to the old man with a frown on his face. You lied to me, old man, when I asked you if you knew I had any parents. You told me you didn't know them. I would have understand if you had said that I can't tell you right now or until you're old enough. I get that you were only trying to protect me, but you still lied, Gigi. You're one of the only few people I trust, and you lied to me repeatedly. You also knew the reason I was hated. It's all because the villagers think of me as the fox or something. How could you let them treat the fourth Hokage's and Kushina Uzumaki's son like this? Naruto asked in a hurt tone. Sarutobi was shocked by what Naruto had just told him. How could he have found out so soon? The old man wondered. Naruto, who told you all of this? If you want to know, Gigi, then you have to tell the Anbu to leave, Naruto said. Tsunade was interested in hearing as well. She had listened to the boy's rant to her sensei. From what she had known, Naruto was said to be dead. She was very close to Kushina and Minato, especially Kushina, considering they were cousins. At first she was furious, but once she thought about it, she could see why her sensei or teammate Jiraiya didn't say anything. During that time, she wasn't in the best state mentally. So taking care of a child while on the road would have only added more stress. Even if she had Shizune to help. I think you should listen to the kid sensei. It isn't like you have much of a choice if you want to find out, Tsunade said. Sarutobi sighed and nodded. He snapped his fingers and within seconds his personal Anbu were gone. Okay, they're all gone, Naruto. Naruto took a deep breath. Kurama told me everything after I unlocked my chakra. Kurama? The man asked in a confused tone. The fox Gigi, his name is Kurama. Naruto answered. Did he tell you that? Yeah and no. A voice in my head just kept telling me his name was Kurama. Plus he responded whenever we called him that. But yeah, he told me everything, Naruto said. Explain please, Naruto. Hiruzen asked. Naruto and Sakura began explaining everything, from the history of their clans to the plan to leave the village for a few years. After they finished explaining, the kids were waiting for Sarutobi's response. Hiruzen was thinking about everything he heard. He was wondering if Naruto was being manipulated. It wouldn't be too far off to assume so. However, something told him that this wasn't the case. So he wants to take you two away from the village when you both turn 6 to train you for quite some time, the man questioned. Yeah, Gigi, he wants us to see the world and to teach us how to prepare ourselves. He said he's going to start teaching us how to utilize our chakra before we even head out. He also said that if you don't agree, that he'll take over my body and take us from the village by force, Naruto said. Suddenly a smoke cloud appeared. When it disappeared, Kurama was standing next in front of Naruto and Sakura. And I have no problems doing so, you old goat. You owe this to Naruto after leaving him to fend for himself. It's been over a year since Sakura came back to tell him you were going to get them somewhere to stay soon, and it still hasn't happened. I don't trust you or any of these villagers with these kids' safety. Sakura has immense potential that will never be fully blossomed if she were trained by your ninja, Kurama interjected. Hiruzen and Tsunade were both on high alert. The fox has just appeared himself. Naruto did explain that he has the ability to come from the seal, but the seal is still intact. However, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be on their guard. How are you so certain that the children won't be just fine being trained here? Hiruzen asked. Because I've been in this village for a long time now. I understand how it works. I can see the hate your villagers give my kids. Naruto has dealt with it since birth, while Sakura has been dealing with it ever since she befriended Naruto. Do you really think that your shinobi who train younger children won't try to sabotage them? Especially when many still hold on to their anger towards me. I can almost guarantee you that they will try to do the same thing they did to Kushina. Except for it will be a lot more severe than what she had to deal with. Why would you risk putting them in harm's way? When I'm offering you a chance to redeem yourself slightly, Kushina and Minato Brat wanted time to watch over Naruto to make sure he learns how to control my power. I know all about Sakura's clan as well. I can teach her more about her history than her own clan can now due to the fall-off they had, Kurama explained. Hiruzen Sarutobi was quiet after that. He took the fox's words to heart. Had he really failed Naruto already? Now when he thinks about it, he can't help but to admit that Kurama is right. The way the villagers are now, there is no telling what may happen to the kids once they enter the academy. When will you return with them? He asked. Kurama grinned like a mad dog. He knew that the old goat couldn't possibly refuse him after what he just said to him. All while it was true. The man has been these kids stay on the streets for far too long. Is this how a village is supposed to treat their clan heirs? They'll be back to enter the last year of the academy. I want them to get acquainted with the other kids in their age group. I know they are already on good terms with the one named Ino Yamanaka. They are cordial with Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akamichi, Kurama explained. Very well, I have no choice but to accept. Naruto and Sakura will leave the village on an extended training trip when both become 6 years old. Hiruzen agreed. Can I add on to something? Tsunade asked. Kurama looked at her and nodded. He knew exactly who this person was. He would be a fool to forget who the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju and Mito Uzumaki. Since Naruto and Sakura will be pretty much defenseless until they train more. How about I tag along for this trip with my apprentice Shizune? It will be a great help with the kids' studies. I can teach them everything I know medically while also train them myself. Since Sakura-chan here has quite the bundle of potential according to you Kurama-san. Then it would be an honor to train her, plus Naruto-kun here is my cousin. I would have liked to been a part of his life but it seems my sensei had other plans and decided to lie and told me he was dead. Tsunade voiced while shooting a slight glare at her teacher. Hiruzen looked away from his student knowing he was in the wrong. I can also protect them from harm until they are able to protect themselves. I am a Sannin after all, not many would dare try to challenge me. Honestly I believe they would be a lot safer being gone from this village under my protection. You making some valid points there. It's nice to finally meet you by the way Princess Tsunade. I remember watching you as a young girl from your grandmother. You were quite the risk-taker even in your younger years which only transferred into your older years. As I watched you from Kushina. I was wondering how come you never came to see the kid since you were family, but now I know. I guess I'll just have to take my anger for you and put it towards the old man even more so, Kurama said. Good then it's settled. Also sensei you are so not off the hook. Does Jiraiya know that his godson is alive? Tsunade questioned with anger in her voice. He does know. Jiraiya has seen Naruto from a distance whenever he came to the village to report to me. He never introduced himself to Naruto because he reminded Jiraiya so much of Minato. He just couldn't bring himself to do it. He only comes to the village about once or twice every year. I told Jiraiya to not tell you anything because you were in a grieving state of mind. He agreed with me. The last Jiraiya heard about Naruto was when he was still in the orphanage. I am terribly sorry for my failure to tell you the truth Tsunade. I am also sorry that I did not act fast enough to help you out more Naruto and Sakura. Please forgive this foolishly old man. Hiruzen spoke out as he slightly bowed his head. It's going to take some time to forgive this one sensei. Luckily I understand your reasoning. But Jiraiya is so getting his ass kicked by me the first time I come across him. He's going to wish I just killed him instead by the time I'm done with him. Tsunade responded while cracking her knuckles. Hiruzen nodded and was grateful that he wasn't the target of Tsunade's fist. He looked towards the two children in front of him. Sakura spoke first. Well Hokage-sama, I think I can forgive you but it will take some time. Naruto shouldn't have had to suffer considering he's the son of the fourth Hokage. It's hard to get over and that you not only left him to fend for himself but you even denied him family. But you did help me out with my family problems so I'll try my best to forgive you. Gigi I understand but I can't easily just overlook this. I'm mad at you but I think I can come to forgive you within time. But that man you said who is my godfather. It will be very tough to forgive him Gigi. He had a duty to look after me but he chose to be a coward instead and left me to fend for myself. What kind of godfather does that? Naruto told him. Hiruzen listened very well to the children's responses. He was happy that they were willing to try to forgive him. It was better than what he thought they were going to say. However, he could only feel bad for Jiraiya. The man had a world of pain coming his way. Thank you my dear children. You have no idea what this means to an old man like me, Hiruzen said. Hold on you're not off the hook with me you old fool. Far from it to say the least. You have more that I want you to do. For starters I want you to give these kids a home they can live in starting today. I don't care what measures you have to take. Get them into a place to stay and it better be decent. Second I want you to make the Uzumaki clan seat available again. Naruto is the last of the royal blood of his clan. He's royalty and should be treated as such. The same goes for Sakura. She has the long-lost Kekkei Genkai of the Haruno clan which made them feared back in the day. Sakura's predecessors are legends who fought against other legendary shinobi. She will be stronger than her ancestors, that I am sure of. The Uzumakis and Harunos are a part of Konoha's founding royal clans. Sakura will be the one to bring her clan back to its former greatness. Naruto will do the same, not to mention that Naruto also has Senju blood running through his veins. So that only adds to his status. I cannot wait for the day where this village realizes just how much deep shit they're in. Once they learn of his heritage. Third, I want access to Naruto's inheritance. I know for a fact Minato and Kushina were quite wealthy. They just didn't flaunt it at all. Sakura will need access to hers as well. Also, I want the Haruno clan head position to be vacant until Sakura has returned and become a ninja. She is the rightful heir. It is said that those who have her clan's bloodline are to automatically become clan head. No matter who is the current clan head if they so choose to be. It's just a benefit that Sakura was born in clan heir with the bloodline. So there's no way to overtake her position. Another thing is that we will be taking a trip to Uzushiogakure. Naruto needs to learn more about his history and we may be able to come across something valuable. Last thing is that I want copies of clan scrolls from both clans. Including Senju and Namikaze. Kurama demanded. Hiruzen could only nod his head. Very well, I will provide everything you have just named. I assume you want Naruto to take the clan head seat the same time as Sakura, am I correct? He asked. Kurama nodded. Yes, I do. Konoha will have two clans returning to where they rightfully belong the day they become genin. Also, Minato and Kushina owned 2 blocks of business that are still running, meaning that Naruto should have a second account that's filled with a lot of money. Especially since that account fell under to him after his parents died. Minato and Kushina didn't go into that particular account a lot anyways. Naruto had more than enough money to afford a place to stay. Oh, and whatever place you give the kids to stay is going to be paid by the village. You owe that to them as well. You are right. I do owe it to them. And I also know the perfect place they can move into too. Naruto, I would give you the key to the Uzumaki Namikaze estate. But I think it's best to wait until you return from your trip if you decide to move in there. Sarutobi agreed. Another thing is when the genin teams are made. I want Sakura and Naruto to both be on the same team. As you should know, their clans were very close allies with one another before they migrated to Konoha. Their bonds only grew stronger once both were a part of the village. Their teamwork was on another level, while they were both highly skilled in Kenjutsu. So it only makes sense that they are paired together. I also want say in who their third teammate is. I don't care if the team is unbalanced or unfair. Naruto and Sakura will be fine. I'll let you choose the Junin instructor. However, I believe I already have one in mind, but I'll see if you can either pick him or someone else who is more qualified. Kurama voiced. Hiruzen sighed. You have my word that I'll be sure they are on the same team no matter what. And the same for their other teammate. Good, now those are all of my requirements for now. But there's something you should know. I know where the lost scroll are to the Haruno clan. Kurama stated. Hiruzen and Tsunade's eye widened at his words. Naruto and Sakura just looked at each other and shrugged. Kurama was just trying to keep himself from laughing at the face that old goat was making. How do you know where they are located? It is said that no one knows where they are. Even people of the Haruno clan themselves don't know. Sarutobi asked. Because Kushina knew. She had a long-term mission one time. So decided to take a detour to her homeland. Once she was there, she went to visit the remains of her old house in the Uzukage's office. In the office she discovered a seal that was on the ground under the desk. When she figured out how to activate it, a storage scroll came out of it. When she opened that, all of the lost scrolls concerning the Harunos and Uzumaki were there. I guess it's safe to say that the older generation wanted to keep their most valued secrets out of the village. Must have thought they were safer there because no one would think to look there. Besides, only those who have the bloodline can actually understand it. No other Haruno can possibly understand the contents of those scrolls. Once Kushina realized just what those scrolls were, she put them back but made a copy of the Uzumaki's scrolls. However, she didn't copy all of them like she wanted to. Kurama explained. Damn, that's something alright. Of course it would be Kushina who found something like that. She always did seem to have luck by her side. Hell, both her and Minato did. Tsunade voiced. Agreed. Now that all of that is settled, I believe it's time I give you two the location to your new home. Hiruzen said to Naruto and Sakura. I'm sorry that I took so long in finding one. It was a lot of variables involved. Luckily, I just remembered that an landlord has given up on his apartment building. I had contacted him not too long ago about you two being able to move there. He was against it, saying that he would lose all of his customers. Apparently, word got out that it was a possibility of you moving there. Because I had told him that if I had decided to place you there, he would accept with no complaints. So now the apartment building is completely empty with nobody to own it. It's actually located in between the red light district and one of the blocks Naruto's businesses are on. Now, if you want, you could just rent it out for the time being, but the village will be providing to make sure everything is paid for. Or you could own the entire building. Making it yours, you would be able to do whatever you want to the apartments. Hiruzen explained. Sakura had a thinking face on. Say Naruto, I think we should become the owners of that place. That way we won't have to be bothered by other tenants who don't like us. Plus it could be a second home for us. Like whenever I go back to my clan compound or you go live at your parents' estate. We could just go there whenever. Sakura told her best friend. Yeah, it'll almost be as if we have our own mansion. Gigi, is it just one floor or two for these apartments? Naruto asked. Normally most apartments would be just one floor. These, however, were 2 floors. Many people paid top dollar to live in them since there are only 6 of them available. They are also side by side to each other. Hiruzen answered. Whoa, the children said simultaneously. Yeah, Sakura, I agree with you. We should own this place. I just wonder, is it secluded a bit? Don't want the villagers constantly being able to see us go in and out. Naruto said. Well, you're in luck. It is actually a very secluded complex. It is known for being a peaceful area. I doubt many will notice you being there. People tend to stay away from the red light district anyways. Plus, I've heard you kids are quite familiar with that area according to my Anbu, so it shouldn't be an issue for you. Then it's settled. Me and Naruto will own the apartments. Sakura said while Naruto nodded. Hiruzen chuckled. It wasn't every day you would sign off the legal rights to one of Konoha's most expensive complexes to 2 5-year-olds. Although these 2 5-year-olds are far more advanced than most their age. Good, now come and sign these documents and it will officially be your land for good. Hiruzen said as he was taking out the documents from a yellow envelope. Naruto and Sakura walked up to his desk and signed off the papers. Tsunade couldn't help but smile at how much Naruto reminded her of his mother. It was a tough time for her when her beloved cousin, who she saw as a sister and vice versa, died. They were close ever since the first day they had met. Once the kids were done, Hiruzen put a stamp onto the paper, give it his approval, and put the documents back in the envelope. I'll keep this here in a safe that only I have access to. He handed Naruto the keys. These are the keys to every apartment. You can get extra keys made just so in case you misplace one of them. Just please try not to lose them. He told them. Tsunade, please do me a favor and take both Naruto and Sakura to the bank so they'll be able to withdraw some money from their accounts. There shouldn't be any problems since you're a Sanin, but just take this paper. It'll show proof that I gave them permission to withdraw, and if anybody cause any problems will be punished by me. He gave her the paper. Tsunade took the paper and smirked. It's about time you started putting your foot down again, sensei. I was wondering if the god of shinobi was ever going to make a return. She said. Yes, you are right about that. I am going to call a meeting with the council. To let them know about the trip. Some will try to object, but they don't have any power. I'm also taking back the power the civilian council think they have. I don't give a damn if Naruto and Sakura are both still technically civilians. They are 2 future shinobi who has unlimited potential waiting to be discovered. I'll need you there along with me because I know Koharu, Homura and Danzo are going to have something to say about it. Naruto and Sakura, you two may as well come along too. Since you'll be clan heads once you graduated. I want you to at least experience what a council meeting is like so you'll know for the future. Hiruzen explained. Sakura nodded, but Naruto seemed unsure. He didn't necessarily trust anyone besides Sakura and a couple other people. The only adult he somewhat trusted is his Gigi. Sakura and Tsunade noticed the look on his face. The pinkett grabbed his hand while Tsunade bent down and put an arm over his shoulder. Naruto was surprised by the older blonde's actions. Don't worry, Naruto. You have me there with you, so you have nothing to fear. If the adults try to harm you, then we'll just make a run for it like always. It's not like any ninja has caught you yet for all the pranks you do. Sakura told him with a smile on her face. That's right, brat. You don't have anything to worry about. No one would dare try something in front of sensei. Besides, I'm there, and if those idiots even attempt to put their hands on my little cousin, I'll make sure they get a nice trip to the emergency room. Tsunade voiced softly. Now that I think about, I remember you said something like that earlier. So we're family? Naruto asked hesitantly. Tsunade smiled at the little blonde and nodded. Yep, me and your mother were blood cousins. The Uzumaki and Senju are distant relatives after all. I'm sorry for not being in your life sooner, Naruto. But I was told you were dead. I wasn't in the right state of mind to be taking care of an infant. However, I would have done so if I knew you were homeless at only 4 years old. Naruto started shaking a bit. He looked up at Tsunade with tears falling from his eyes. The boy hugged her with all his might. Tsunade was surprised to see him hug her like this. However, she was very happy that it was happening. She hugged him back tightly. It was honestly killing her to have to hold back. Once she found out who he was, he reminded her so much of Kushina that she had to stop herself from breaking down right then and there. For Naruto to hear that he had a family member, after being alone for so long, it must have been tough for him to see every other child with a family they belong to. Naruto is a strong soul to hold out for this long, especially after how the villagers treats him. Any child probably would have died from the trauma of it all by now. It made her very proud of him. I'm so proud of you for holding out for this long, Naruto. I know for a fact that your mother and father would be too. No one should have to suffer the way you have. I'm just grateful that you had someone to look out for you. She spoke to him while looking up at Sakura and smiled at her. Sakura blushed a bit and looked away. She was only doing what any friend would do. Besides, Naruto was her best friend. It's nothing in the world she wouldn't do for him, and she knew Naruto would do the same for her. Knowing him, he would go above and beyond for her. Once Naruto decided to let go, Tsunade patted him gently on his head. She then grabbed Sakura and pulled her into a hug. Sakura's first reaction was to move away, but she stood there. It actually felt nice to have a hug from Tsunade. It felt very warm and comforting. Nothing like the hugs she felt from her parents. Thank you, Sakura, for watching over Naruto. I've heard quite a lot on how protective you are over him. I'm truly in your debt for this. Without you, there's no telling what would have happened to Naruto. You are one kind-hearted girl. There's not many people who would stick by someone's side, going through what you two went through as long as you have. Tsunade told the Pinkett. Sakura almost felt as if she wanted to cry. That comment made her feel so happy. It was odd for her to feel so comfortable in the embrace of someone who she had just met. Tsunade pulled back from the hug, much to Sakura's displeasure. The Sannin laughed and looked at her sensei. All right, sensei. Ready whenever you are. The old man nodded and stood up. He walked to open the door and told his secretary to send out a message that a council meeting will be held in 15 minutes. The secretary immediately got to work. Hiruzen looked at the trio behind him. Follow me, Tsunade. You will remain unseen by the others along with the children, until I give you the okay to bring them in. The council is going to get the shock of their life once I tell them what's going to happen. However, the civilian council will be dismissed before I give out all of the details. Just to piss them off. Kurama, it would be wise for you to go back into the seal for right now. We can't risk causing any trouble. Don't appear unless I give you the okay. I'm hoping that I won't need you to appear. But you may be needed in case the council needs a little more convincing. Just don't scare them to death, please. Hiruzen said. Kurama smirked. Hey, I'll abide for now, you old goat, but if anyone in that room pisses me off in any way, I'm making an appearance. Kurama stated as he disappeared back into the seal. Hiruzen sighed. Tsunade, is it inappropriate of me to hope that someone just might do something stupid just to see Kurama scare the civilians? Tsunade started laughing. Oh wow, sensei, never would have expected that out of you. But who cares? Cut yourself some slack once in a while. I'm also hoping that some entertainment happens myself. I want those villagers to know just exactly who they are testing. And I'm not just talking about the fox. But Tsunade-sama, wouldn't that be a bad idea? Sakura asked. It's not the greatest of ideas, but like Sensei said earlier, it may be needed. Also drop the honorific Sakura, dear. I'm not too big on them. Tsunade said. Come, let's go, we need to be there before everyone gets there. Hiruzen told them. They started to head to the council room. When they got there, Tsunade led the kids to a different room inside of the council room. That way they'll be able to stay unseen while listening to everything that is said. Hiruzen sat at his usual seat. Around 10 minutes had passed. The room was filled with the shinobi and civilian council, along with the village elders and a few junin. All of them were wondering the same thing. What caused this sudden meeting? Sarutobi could tell what they were thinking and he couldn't help but chuckle. He was sure to see some idiots act out today. Thank you for attending this meeting on such a short notice. What I have called this meeting for is because I have some things that need to be discussed. First off is this, can the civilian council give me an explanation as to why is young Naruto and Sakura being chased and hurt by the villagers? 5 soon to be 6 children are being harmed by adults. He said with a bit of anger in his voice. The civilian council were nervous. They didn't think that the Hokage would bother to look into it since he's normally so busy. One decided to stand up and answer the question. Well, Hokage-sama, it's just that the boy is nothing but evil. He's the reincarnation of the fox who killed many of our family members. So we feel as if since he's only a child, it's the best time to get our revenge for our fallen loved ones. The man explained. Most of the civilian council nodded in agreement while some didn't like how he just worded his statement. The shinobi council just looked at the man in disgust. Are you an idiot? Hiruzen asked. The man was caught off guard. No, Hokage-sama. He responded unsure. Clearly you are if you can't understand the difference that has been explained so many times. Naruto is the container of the beast, not the beast itself. He's the one who protects this village every day of his life by containing the beast inside of him. He's a boy who didn't have a choice but to accept the curse that was bestowed upon him. You've blatantly just admitted to me that it is acceptable to beat and nearly kill a child. Naruto is just a child and you idiots tortured him just because you refuse to accept that he isn't the beast himself. You tell your children not to play with him all because you're too scared to let go of your anger. I understand you're hurt because of your lost loved ones due to that tragic night. However, that does not give you a right to torture a child. Hiruzen shouted in anger. The old Hokage's killing intent was leaking heavily. It made the civilians nearly faint while the shinobi were a bit nervous. No one was expecting to see the man this angry. Now Tsunade, if you would please. Hiruzen said. Everybody was confused at first since they didn't see the slug princess in sight. Footsteps, however, caught their ears. As they watched Tsunade appear with 2 children next to her. Once the civilian council saw Naruto, they began screaming for his death. There he is. Kill him. Kill the demon who took our loved ones from us. A man shouted. The rest of the civilians were yelling in agreement. The shinobi council could only shake their head on how idiotic they were acting. This is why shinobi prefer to not deal with civilians because of how stupid they could be. Naruto looked down to the ground. He hated being called demon every day. He was just as human as they were. It was unfair how he had to be subjected to this when he didn't ask for any of it. He had long accepted that he wouldn't ever be liked by the villagers. But that didn't mean it didn't hurt to hear it all the time. He did his best to ignore it, but every once in a while he slips up and let their words affect him. He felt Sakura grab his hand and gave it a tight squeeze. Naruto looked up to see the determination in her eyes. She was sending a silent message to him. Don't let them break you. You're not alone. I'm with you every step of the way. Naruto took a deep breath and looked straight ahead at the villagers. He won't let them get to him. Those villagers will not get the satisfaction of seeing him upset. He stared back at Sakura with determination matching hers. Sakura smiled and nodded at her best friend. Tsunade was furious at how the idiotic villagers were acting. She looked down at Naruto and saw that he wasn't letting it get to him. Hey, that unbreakable will your parents had was also inherited by you, Naruto. She thought to herself. Hiruzen had banged his fist on the table. Silence, you fools. He yelled while unleashing his killing intent again. I will not have you acting uncivilized in this meeting. The next outburst I hear will result in severe punishment. That shut everybody up. No one dared to try to say a word. This wasn't the same old Hokage who just let things slide. This was Hiruzen Sarutobi, the god of shinobi, speaking to them. The shinobi were pleased to see their Hokage return to his old self. Now the reason that I brought these two children here is to show you something. These children who you've been attacking and chasing relentlessly are future clan heads in the making. You've been committing crimes against clan heirs. Do you know what that means? Hiruzen said. This had the civilians scared to death. Attacking an clan heir or head is like signing your death wish. It also confused them as to how was the boy a clan heir. I'm guessing you're wondering how is Naruto an clan heir. Well, unfortunately I can't give you the full details yet. It will be announced in the future. And no, I won't be enforcing the punishment for attacking clan heirs. However, starting today, if anyone feels brave enough to do so, you will not only deal with me, but you also risk dealing with the wrath of a Sanin. And as you may know, I'm much nicer than Tsunade-chan over there. She's holding herself back so much right now from causing a slaughter. You have been harming a very close relative of hers. Hiruzen told them, waiting to see the looks on their face. That was a bombshell for the civilians. They have been harming a relative of Tsunade's, who is the granddaughter of the first Hokage. When some turned to look at the Sanin, they flinched at the sight. Tsunade was angry. She was staring at them with so much anger. You could see the aura coming out of her. It even started to make some feel bad for what they had done. But Hokage-sama, how could that be? That boy is nothing but a no-name clan-less orphan. One man asked. Actually, he's far from clan-less. Naruto's full name is Naruto Uzumaki. As some of you may know, the Uzumaki were very close allies to Konoha. They were one of our founding clans. The reason the seat hasn't been filled in because the previous clan head had rejected the offer of taking the seat before she passed. Shikaku informed. Correct, Shikaku. Some may not know what the red swirl on the back of our Chunin or Junin vest stand for. It's the insignia of the Uzumakis. We wear it as a reminder of them. Especially since we failed to save our beloved allies' homeland. Sarutobi said somberly. To answer the next question you are about to ask. The Uzumaki and Senju were distant blood relatives. The man sat back down. He knew it was better for him to just leave it at that. The rest of them just decided to not ask any more questions. Now, as for the final part, I'm taking back the rights I gave to the Civilian Council a few years ago. Your help is no longer required. I have everything under control now. The Sandaime voiced. This got a cry of outrage from the civilians. Hiruzen quickly shut them up. Silence, you fools have no room to argue. It is clear that you've forgotten that your help was only temporary, not permanent. Besides, it's clear you will be attempting to make Naruto suffer on purpose. So to avoid that from happening, this is what must happen. You have been dismissed. The Shinobi Council will stay. Hiruzen stated. The civilians had no choice but to leave as Anbu were escorting them out. As they were leaving, one man shouted. This is all your fault, demon. I will kill you the first chance I get for what you have taken from me. The man screamed. Anbu, take him to the T&I department for questioning. Sarutobi ordered. The Anbu followed his orders and took the man to the department. After every civilian was out, the old man activated the privacy seal to make sure nothing is heard from the outside. Shikaku sighed. Man, am I ever glad that they finally got put in their place. Most of the clan heads nodded in agreement. The civilians were quite annoying to deal with in meetings. They always try to have their input on everything in the village that included shinobi matters. No matter how many times they are denied, they will keep on pressing about it every meeting afterwards. Plus they were starting to get too full of themselves. Hiruzen sighed. Now on to the more important matters. What I said about Naruto is true. He is a relative of Tsunade's along with both the first and second Hokage. He's also an Uzumaki. Some of you may or may not know who his parents are. Well, you are actually quite familiar with them. He's the son of Kushina Uzumaki, the last princess and queen of Uzushiogakure, along with the fourth Hokage himself, Minato Namikaze. To ones who didn't know, they eyes widen in shock. Minato and Kushina were loved by everyone in the village. When they were announced dead, it was said that their baby had also died during the attack. To think that the child actually survived and was also an Jinchuriki at that. The elders were also surprised by this news. Danzo had suspicions but never had any concrete evidence to back the claim up. He wanted to try to lure the boy into route, but now that was impossible due to his heritage being announced in this meeting. He cursed Hiruzen for getting in the way of his plans. Why were we told of this, Hiruzen? Homura asked. Because it was for his own protection. I didn't want to risk the information getting leaked to other villages. It was best to keep this under curtains until the time was right. That time came sooner than I expected. Due to the civilians' interference into an unforeseen event. The only ones who knew were myself and Jiraiya, Hiruzen answered. But Hokage-sama, surely you would have known that somebody out of the clan's head would have adopted him. Fugaku asked. That would have caused some questions to arise and I just couldn't risk that happening. I only placed Naruto in an orphanage to keep him unknown to the world. Even if he is a Jinchuriki, he would only a certain risk level because only the people of this village knew who the Jinchuriki was. The other nations don't know who is our Jinchuriki. But hearing that Yondaimi's son was alive would have caused a lot of problems with the Kumo and Iwa. Hiruzen replied. Kakashi was just sitting there in complete disbelief. He couldn't believe that his sensei's son was still alive. All this time, he was watching from the shadows, making sure no harm would come to him. Had he known that Naruto was both the Jinchuriki and his sensei's son, he would put in twice as much of effort to protect him. As much as he wanted to be upset at Lord Third, he knew he was only thinking of Naruto's safety. At least Kakashi can say he was there to protect his sensei's son even without knowing. So what does this make Naruto then, Hokage-sama? Shibi Aburame asked. Naruto is the last prince of Uzushiogakure. He's basically owns all of that land. He also owns his mother and father's businesses that they owned here in the village. He will no longer be homeless. I already have in place where he and Sakura will be staying. Hiruzen answered. It is wise to let them two be together like that, Lord Third. What about the girl's parents? Choza questioned. Yes, it is perfectly fine. This girl here is the reason why young Naruto is still as sane as he today. She's also the reason he's still in this village. Without her, it is possible that Naruto could have left the village due to everything he's been through. It's amazing that he's mentally stable. Sakura here has been with him every step of the way ever since the first day they met. Sakura's parents unfortunately are no longer with us. They decided to punish young Sakura for befriending Naruto. They beat her severely as if she was there in the night. I was told they tried to constantly make her stop hanging with Naruto, but she refused. Sakura may be very young, but she's also a genius in the making. She understood that something was going on for everyone to treat Naruto the way he's been getting treated. She was constantly belittled by her very parents. They even banished her from her own clan the night they beat her. If it wasn't for her aunt, she may have been lost to us. When this was reported to me, I told Sakura I would handle everything and she could go back home. She decided to stay banished and be with Naruto out on the streets. All this brave girl saw was a friend in need. She willingly gave up everything for him. Hiruzen told them. This news was surprising to the clan heads. It's not every day you see someone so young yet so selfless. Their respect for her increased dramatically. This young girl chose to stay with her friend out on the streets to help him, instead of returning to her home. Now, before you ask, yes, has been settled that Sakura can return home whenever she wants to. But for now she chooses to stay with Naruto. It is another matter that needs to be addressed. These two will be going on a training trip outside of the village when they both become 6. They will not return until their final year of the academy for their age group, which will be with most of your kids. Sarutobi said. Who will they be on this trip with, Hokage-sama? Hiashi asked. Hiruzen sat straight up and cleared his throat. What I'm about to tell you must never leave this room. This will be an SS class secret. If I hear that anybody leaked this information, no matter what the reason, you will be brought in under treason. If I even have the slightest suspicion, you will be brought in for questioning. Do I make myself clear? He said in a tone with finality. The clan heads and village elders all nodded. They didn't know what had got into the man, but they knew he was dead serious about this. Hiruzen was satisfied for the most part, but he knew to keep his eyes on Danzo. They will be training with the 9-tailed fox himself. The old man said. Every shinobi besides Tsunade eyes widen at the revelation. These two kids will be trained by the demon itself. Something wasn't right here. Can you repeat that, Hiruzen? Kaharu asked. You heard right the first time, Kaharu. The fox will be training them itself. He told her. But how is that possible, Hokage-sama? The beast is sealed inside of Naruto. Inoichi questioned. Sarutobi began telling them everything he wanted them to know. He knew he was going to have to explain in detail about this. The clan heads just couldn't believe what they were hearing. So Naruto here has befriended the fox. And the fox is taking them away from the village to teach them how to protect themselves. Naruto has also loosened the seal so the Kyuubi can just appear outside of the seal whenever it wants. It's also going to teach both of them about their heritage. Interesting. Shikaku voiced. I agree, Shikaku. Hiruzen said. But Lord Third, what if the fox is just manipulating the kids to get them to flee the village so he can break out of the and roam freely? It would be a huge loss for us. Inoichi asked. Naruto didn't loosen the seal to the point where the fox will be able to break out. Actually, he assured him that he wouldn't attempt anything when Naruto went to loosen the seal. And true to his word, he didn't. We all know how it chakra feel. We would have felt if something happened. Hiruzen replied. Why the girl though? No disrespect or anything, but what's so special about her? Sume Inazuka wondered. Because she has been born with her clan's long-lost Kekkei Genkai. He answered. That was another bombshell the old man dropped. Are you serious? Fugaku voiced in absolute shock. Believe me, I was just as surprised as you all. However, Kyuubi himself has confirmed it. Even I had my own suspicions when I began to see the signs. The Haruno clan will return to its former glory along with the Uzumaki clan within the next several years. I and the fox have seen some hidden potential inside of Naruto and Sakura. Sarutobi replied. Wow, never expected that to happen. The Haruno clan has been at an all-time low in recent years. That's what happens when regular civilians are in charge of shinobi clans. Can't forget to mention that those two were money-hungry and selfish. Shikaku said. Damn right, I couldn't stand those bastards. It made my blood boil when I heard what they did to they kid. Sume added. Same here. Fugaku agreed. So who is the acting clan head? Shibi questioned. Nobody. The seat will be vacant until Sakura graduates the academy and becomes a ninja. The same with Naruto. Hiruzen informed them. Are you sure that is wise, Hiruzen? Even if they are trained by the fox, it won't be like they'll be Junin level. Homura asked. A white cloud and bursted into the room. Everyone was on high alert. Hiruzen inwardly smirked. He had a feeling Kurama would make his appearance sooner or later. Tsunade was eager to see what was going to happen as well. Naruto and Sakura just watched as thing unfold. Once the smoke cleared, everyone seen that Kurama himself had appeared before their very eyes in a miniature form. They had to stop themselves for getting into the stances. That's where you're wrong, you stupid fool. My kits will be very strong by the time they return from here. Strong enough to hold the position of clan head. I can sense the fear in you humans. Relax, if I wanted you dead I would have eaten you already. Don't let my size fool you. I can still easily take you pests on. Kurama stated. Don't be ridiculous. It's impossible for them to come back that strong when you know nothing on how being a shinobi works. This is just a ploy for you to free yourself. Danzo said. Kurama unleashed a burst of his killing intent. Everyone but Naruto and Sakura were affected by it. The kids were affected because Kurama knew not to direct it towards them. The shinobi has felt killing intent before. But this was on a whole different level. It's only been one other time that they have felt something like this. Now listen here, you pathetic worm. I've been around a whole lot longer than anyone who is alive today. Don't question my intelligence. I know all about how you ninjas work. I know your training methods, history, abilities, psychology, you name it. I have been inside of your village before any of you were born. I can teach them everything they need to know. I can also teach them better than you pests ever can. Only so few of your ninja ever reach their full potential. I can make my kits reach theirs and beyond that. You don't even know about their clan history or techniques that well. I know everything about them. I fought against many Uzumakis and Harunos, especially the previous three, to have their bloodline. You know nothing about the Uzumaki sealing techniques either. Your village only has the ability to nurture them so far. I will show them all that I can during these next few years and then some after that. However, I will say this. If I ever catch any of your root ninjas nearby my kits again, it will be a problem. I will make sure each one I catch dies. Then I will come and destroy your whole organization. So don't test me, this is your one and only warning, mummy man. I will be able to tell if they are even by Sakura when she's separated from Naruto as well. Kurama warned him. Danzo just grunted to himself. He knew he had no choice but to listen now. Especially since he just revealed that Danzo had been sending his agents to follow Naruto without any authorization. He even shut down any attempts in follow Sakura. Any more questions? If so, then speak up now. Kurama spoke out. I have one. Why are you so invested into them too? Shikaku questioned. Because they aren't like typical humans. When I first met Naruto, he didn't even hate me for how I'm the reason his life is the way it is. Any other human would have held hatred from me. Sakura's selfless spirit speak for itself. Both of them are very intriguing, so I decided to look after them. Kurama answered. Shikaku nodded at his answer. If no one else has anything to say, then this meeting is adjourned. Remember, nothing you've heard today leaves this room. Hiruzen said. The clan heads nodded and begun to leave. This meeting was a very interesting meeting indeed. The elders all got up and left as well. The only ones who remained are Hiruzen, Tsunade, Naruto, Sakura, Kurama and surprisingly Fugaku. Naruto, can you please come here for a moment? Fugaku asked. Naruto looked a bit confused. He looked up to Tsunade to see what he should do. She nodded at him, indicating to go ahead. Naruto stood up and walked towards the man. Fugaku then did something no one expected to ever see him do. He got down on his hands and knees in front of Naruto. Please forgive me, Naruto. I have failed you and your family. Fugaku said in an apologetic tone. Why are you sorry? Did you do something wrong? Naruto asked. Yes, I did. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Fugaku Uchiha, head of the Uchiha clan. You see, me and your father were best friends, almost brothers if I say so myself. It was agreed that if something was to happen to him, that I will look out for you. I was to make sure that anything you needed will be fulfilled and that I will protect you the best to my ability. However, I was told that you had died along with your parents. It took me a long time to stop grieving so much over everything that happened. When I had first seen you, I thought I had seen a ghost because you were the spitting image of your father. I wanted to deny it, but something kept telling me that I was right. Today confirmed everything. Naruto, I am your godfather. One of them, that is. Fugaku explained. Naruto just stood there and watched the man in front of him. It was weird, but he could tell that Fugaku wasn't lying. Everything he said sounded so sincere. It's okay, Fugaku-san. I don't think I could really blame you. I don't think my dad would either, considering that I was said to be dead. There's no way you could have known even if you were having suspicions. Tsunade was in a similar position. Besides, what's the point of being mad over it at this point? At the end of the day, you came to talk to me the first opportunity you could. I don't think I could ask for nothing more than that. Naruto told him. Fugaku looked up in disbelief. Naruto wasn't mad at him at all. He even accepted the news better than what Fugaku had expected. He could now see both Kushina and Minato's spirit inside of Naruto. Fugaku just sighed. You are just like your parents. Always willing to look at things from a different perspective. I can tell you're a very smart young man, Naruto. He said with a slight smile. Fugaku then looked at Sakura. Thank you for looking after my godson Sakura. The Uchiha clan are forever in your debt. I look forward to also getting to know about you more. I am sorry about your parents. I'm also sorry that you had to go through everything you have had to put up because of their selfish ways. I had often worried how you would turn out because I just had hope that the clan heir wouldn't be as rotten as her parents. Once again, the Uchihas are forever in your debt. He told Sakura. Sakura just smiled sheepishly and scratched the back of her head. Don't worry about it, Fugaku-sama. I was only looking out for my best friend. There's no need to thank me for that. Believe me, it is. It's a great weight off of my conscience. Now, Naruto, I believe your godmother would also like to know you are alive. She was very excited about your birth as much as your mother. How about later on you all come over to our compound so I can introduce you to my family? I have a son named Sasuke who is your age. Fugaku asked. Naruto smiled. Sure, I don't mind. Meeting my godmother sounds pretty interesting. I'll come after me and Sakura get everything situated in our new home. We still have to go get money out and other things. Naruto told him. Then I'll see you then. Tsunade-sama knows where our compound is, so I'm sure she'll be able to direct you. I look forward to seeing you. And with that, Fugaku left. Well, that was interesting. I was wondering if he was going to say something after the meeting. Never expected him out of all people to do that though. Tsunade said. I'm with you on that one, Tsunade. Fugaku is a prideful man. Maybe not as prideful as you would expect him to be. But still prideful. Hiruzen added. I like him. He seems really nice. I can't wait to meet my godmother too. Naruto said. Yeah, it'll be nice to see you meet more of your family, Naruto. Sakura voiced. Alright kiddies, let's go. We have a few things to take care of, being we can even get to that. We also have to go meet up with my apprentice Shizune. Don't worry, she's very nice. She'll honestly adore the both of you. Tsunade told them as she began to leave. Alright, see you later, Gigi. You'll probably be hearing about me again soon from one of the villagers because of my pranks. Naruto said with a foxy grin. Sakura just shook her head but couldn't help but smile. I'm sure he will, Naruto. Come on, let's go. The two kids soon followed behind Tsunade. Hiruzen laughed. That boy is always up to something. Naruto, Sakura and Tsunade all were walking through the village. Tsunade told them that they needed to go and find Shizune at their hotel room since it was on the way to their new home. Once they got there, they went up to Tsunade's room. The slug princess opened the door and saw her apprentice reading a book. Seems like my apprentice is using her time wisely. Tsunade remarked. Shizune looked up to see that her teacher had returned. She was also accompanied by two children. Welcome back, Tsunade-sama. How was the meeting with Lord Hokage? She asked. Shizune, I have quite the story to tell you. Tsunade walked and sat next to her. Naruto and Sakura sat on the two chairs across the table. Just sit back and listen. Tsunade informed. The slug princess began telling her apprentice everything that had went down. Shizune was surprised that so much had happened. Although she was glad that nothing bad happened. And so here we are now. I just stopped by to see if you wanted to see where the kids will be staying. They also need to buy some new clothes. I can only assume that Naruto doesn't have as much as clothing as he should. Sakura here should have enough at her clan compound, but it's best if we just get her some as well. They'll also need food to eat and many more utilities. We won't be able to get everything today, but by the end of the week they should be set. Well, I guess I could come with you. I'm not doing much anyways. Besides, it'll be nice to get to know Naruto-kun and Sakura-chan. Shizune said with a smile. Shizune-san, I feel like you'll be the big sister I've always wanted. Sakura told her. Shizune blushed at her words. Ah, I like you already, Sakura-chan. Naruto laughed while Tsunade just watched the interaction. It was amusing to see how everyone meshed with one another. She felt a huge part of her soul be relieved. It was nice knowing that one of your family members actually turned out to be alive. She also knew this would be good for Shizune. The girl really doesn't hang around others a lot. She's been with Tsunade for a long time now. Hopefully having Naruto and Sakura around will do some good for her. Alright, come on guys. It's best if we leave now so we can get a good part of things done before we go to the Uchiha compound. Tsunade told them. Everyone got up and made their way back into town. First place they went was to the bank. After that was done, they moved on to one of the business blocks Naruto owns. It was only to see if they could get any deals on clothes. It wasn't no telling what to expect, but they took their chance. The first store they went into was a decent sized store. The person in charge came to the front and almost had a heart attack. The man could have sworn the Yondaime in that blonde-haired boy. Welcome everyone, how can I help you? He asked. Yeah, see, look here. This boy right here is the son of the fourth Hokage. I know it may be hard to believe, but if you look at him, you will see he is the spitting image of his father. So that makes him basically the owner of this place and this whole block full of businesses, including the next one. Tsunade said. The man was shocked. No wonder he thought he had seen the Yondaime. This boy was his son. He knew Tsunade wasn't lying. Oh well, I welcome you to your business, sir. What is your name, young man? He asked Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto replied. Ah well, Naruto-sama, then you may go and take as you please. You own everything after all, so you get the owner's discount. Meaning you will get everything at a very low price. Don't worry, all of your business are doing extremely well. So it won't hurt our income at all. Every store you own, you will always be given this discount. The man informed Naruto. Sweet, can Sakura get something similar? She's my best friend after all. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now. Naruto questioned. Sakura was shocked by her best friend's actions. Naruto, you don't have to do that. I'll be able to get anything I want with no problems anyways. Don't be dumb, Sakura. You know me too well to think I wouldn't do this for you. Besides, think about it. Who wouldn't want this kind of deal? Plus, we won't have to worry about other stores that the villagers try to reject us from. Naruto responded. Sakura sighed in defeat. She knew it wasn't no convincing Naruto out of this. Plus, she knew if roles were opposite, she would do the same for him as well. Fine, it's no use of arguing about this with you anyways. You're as stubborn as me. We can't give her the owner's discount because it's exclusive to only the owner. But she can get the next best thing. It's called the family discount. The young lady's purchases will only be a bit more than yours. The man said. All right, that works. Well, better get to searching for stuff. Come on, you guys. I'm going to need help deciding on clothes because I've never done this type of thing before. Naruto said. That made all three females a bit sad. Naruto was deprived of so many things at such a young age. It was so sad to think about. The group all started to look around. After a while, they've figured that they have gotten enough clothes from here. There were other stores to visit as well. Once they paid for everything, Tsunade put all of the bags inside a storage seal. She had a few of them with her and figured they would come in handy for this. The group went from store to store buying things that were needed. Tsunade and Shizune decided to wait on the furniture until they got a good idea of how the apartments looked. It was safe to assume they would have a refrigerator, so they bought groceries as well. After all of the shopping was done for the day, they all made their way to the apartment complex with Tsunade leading the way. She knew how to get there due to passing by the complex a few times whenever she went to the red light district. It took them about 15 minutes to reach the place. Naruto couldn't help but feel happy that he and Sakura would no longer have to stay on the streets. They had a home that they actually owned. Sakura was also happy because Naruto would finally get to enjoy the feeling of having a home to go to. Not just finding a place outside to sleep for the night, or going to the red light district and stay in one of the hotels. They all walked inside and noticed that the apartment was pretty spacious. The kitchen was actually pretty big. The living room was a good size. It had 4 bedrooms on the upper level. The rooms were more than an average size. They were all as big as a master bedroom. And the master bedroom itself was just ridiculous for an apartment. It also has 2 full bathrooms. Overall, Tsunade had to admit, this place was absolutely stunning for an apartment. Even the backyard was huge. You could almost compare it to an house. Naruto, Sakura and Shizune were all just stunned at how nice it is here. Gotta admit, Naruto and Sakura, you two sure hit the jackpot on this one. Just to think that you two own all 6 apartments and don't even have to pay for it. The village is covering everything as they should. Tsunade pointed out. Yeah, I can't believe that this is actually ours, Sakura. Naruto said. Me neither. It's crazy to think 5-year-olds own something like this. Sakura agreed. Indeed it is. At least now we don't have to worry about size all that much when it comes to the furniture. You two have plenty of room to spare. We should put the groceries away. Shizune voiced. Good thinking, Shizune. This will actually be a perfect time to teach you two about a storage scroll. Tsunade spoke out. Storage scroll? You mean those scrolls that you stored everything inside of? Sakura asked. Yes, you see, with a storage scroll what you do is you open the scroll and either you put whatever you want to seal onto it. And then you apply chakra into the seal and the object disappears into the seal. What you do if you want to unseal something is to just open the scroll and apply chakra onto it. Then whatever you have sealed with be released from the scroll. This is very handy when you're on a mission and have to either transport an important object or documents. You can even store bodies inside of it. Tsunade explained. Naruto and Sakura nodded at her. They were eager to learn anything about being a ninja. They just couldn't wait to start their training. The group started to put the groceries away. Then they unsealed everything that was bought. Tsunade told Naruto and Sakura to each take one of the towels they bought, along with any soap, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant and some new clothes, and go take a shower so they can head out to the Uchiha compound. The kids did as they were told and each headed to a bathroom to clean themselves. Man, I swear those two are too well behaved. They do anything I tell them to do with no questions asked. It's almost as if they trust me completely. Tsunade said. Well, Tsunade-sama, I think they do trust you to an extent. I'm sure it'll only grow stronger within time. It's obvious that they know the Hokage himself trusts you to look after them. Plus you're Naruto's family member. It's pretty easy for them to try to trust you over any other adult in this village. One thing I'm concerned about is his will they act towards Jiraiya once they meet him. After hearing that he basically chose to abandon his godson because the pain was too great for him. I don't think they'll be all that forgiving. Shizune said. Hell no, they won't be. That perverted idiot really messed up this time and I'm going to let him have it when I see him. He'll wish he was dead by the time I'm done with him. He really will want to after Makoto gets done with him. She was just as much of a sister to Kushina than I was. I know for a fact Makoto suffered very hard during the time of Kushina and Minato's death. I'm sure hearing Naruto is alive will help her out a lot. But still, that pervert deserves everything that's coming to him. Tsunade replied with a small tinge of anger in her voice. I can't help but agree with you there. I mean, what was Jiraiya-sama thinking? How could he just leave Naruto like that even if he was suffering? He even saw him from the distance and still chose to not do anything. Shizune agreed. After about another 20 minutes, Naruto and Sakura both came back to the living room. Naruto was wearing a blue shirt with the Uzumaki swirl on front. He had on black jeans with black shinobi sandals. Sakura had on a red dress with her own set of black shinobi sandals. Alright, now that you two are ready, let's head out. Don't wanna keep them waiting. Tsunade said. The group all headed out to the Uchiha compound. It was only 15 minutes away from where they were at. Once they reached the gate, Tsunade led them through the compound. It didn't take long for them to find their destination. Tsunade knocked on the door for someone to answer. After about 30 seconds, Fugaku slid open the door. I'm surprised you remembered where we stayed at, Tsunade-sama. He said. Tsunade shrugged. Been here quite the number of times to just suddenly forget, Fugaku. She replied. Fugaku laughed and led them inside. The group followed him inside. They could see Makoto sitting down at a wooden table. Naruto took a look at his godmother. To him she was very pretty. He wondered how would she react to seeing him alive. Makoto looked up and noticed her husband along with 4 others behind him. She was surprised to see Tsunade and her apprentice behind him, along with 2 other kids. She was certain that the pink-haired girl was the Haruno clan heir. However, the blonde-haired boy was a mystery. She knew he was the Jinchuriki and he was a prankster, but other than that, she didn't know anything about him. He did look a lot like Minato, surprisingly. Tsunade-chan, it's been such a long time since I've last seen you. It's great to see you again. Same to you, Shizune-chan. What brings you two here with those kids? Makoto asked while pointing to them. Tsunade just laughed. Hey, you just jumped straight to the point as usual, Makoto-chan. Hello, Makoto-san. Shizune replied with a smile. To answer your questions about the kids, I believe they should introduce themselves to you, Tsunade said. Sakura spoke up first. Hello, Makoto-sama. I'm Sakura Haruno. You probably know me as the clan heir of the Haruno clan. Sakura told her as she bowed in a sign of respect. Makoto just waved her off. Please don't be so formal with me, darling. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm not as stuck up as some members are my clan. But it's a pleasure to meet you. You are right, I do know of you. You're Mebuki's daughter. Hearing her mother's name made Sakura look down for a second. She instantly rose her head back up. This didn't go unnoticed by anybody. Naruto decided to step up. The time was now to see what her reaction will be. Hello, Makoto-san. I know this might sound crazy, but my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said. Makoto's eyes widened at his words. It just couldn't be true. She knew for a fact that Naruto had died that night along with his parents. That's what the Hokage told them. She activated her Sharingan to see if he was lying. Makoto deactivates it as soon as she confirmed he was telling the truth. It was really him. Naruto, her godson, was still alive. The more she stared at him, the more she saw Minato and Kushina in him. He had Minato's hair and eye color. But he had Kushina's mouth, nose, cheeks and even pupil shape. She couldn't stop herself from crying as she got up and hugged the life out of Naruto. Naruto was glad that her reaction turned out better than he hoped. He hugged her back and she just kept crying. Everyone watched Makoto just cry her heart out. Fugaku was glad that Makoto will finally be able to let go some of the grief she's been holding onto. Tsunade was also happy that Makoto and Naruto met. It will do a lot of good for the both of them. After several minutes, Makoto finally stopped sobbing. When she raised her head up, there were still a couple of tears in her eyes. Okay, so someone better explain to me what is going on before I think I'm under someone genjutsu. Makoto said. We were lied to about Naruto being dead. He was alive the whole time, but Sensei decided to tell everybody that who knew of Kushina's pregnancy that he died in order to protect him. He didn't want to risk any type of information being leaked to other villages about Naruto. He put Naruto into an orphanage, but it seems he was kicked out due to him being a Jinchuriki. He's been living out on the streets ever since. Well, until today, that is. Tsunade informed her. Makoto was surprised but then became angry. So he decided to keep us in the dark for this long in order to protect Naruto. Who was still suffering anyways? Did anybody else know he was alive? Oh yeah, that idiot Jiraiya did. Him and Sensei were the only ones who knew. They decided not to tell me anything because of what I was going through at the time. Jiraiya has actually saw Naruto from the distance. But apparently he never introduced himself because he was reminded so much of Minato that the pain was too much for him. So instead of taking care of his godson and telling us that he was alive, he decided to leave him on his own to fend for himself. The last time he had seen Naruto was when he was still in the orphanage. Naruto has been homeless for almost 2 years until today. Tsunade explained. Makoto was livid. What? You mean to tell me that bastard left our godson all because he couldn't man up and get over the pain? Really? And he calls himself a fucking Sanin? Makoto yelled. Tsunade nodded. Believe me, I wanna kick his ass as much as you do. And it will happen. But on to another important matter. Naruto and Sakura here will be going on a several-year training trip when they become 6. She told Makoto. With who? And what's so special about Sakura? Isn't she just a regular civilian girl? Makoto asked. Tsunade had explained everything that needed to be told. About Sakura and Kurama. Makoto was very shocked to know that Sakura was born with her clan's lost bloodline. You would have never expected her to have it considering who her parents were. Also, the part about them training with Kurama was also very surprising. It was no telling just how strong those two will be even at a young age. With both Tsunade and Kurama teaching them, she knew that Naruto and Sakura will be a force to reckon with in the future. Wow, that's certainly something, alright. Well, I'm sure they'll succeed in their training. If Naruto is anything like his parents, he'll exceed our expectations numerous of times. Makoto said. Yeah, I can only imagine. Fugaku interjected. Oh yeah, Fugaku. Makoto looked at her husband. Why didn't you tell me when you came back home? Because I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted them to come with me as soon as the meeting was over, but Tsunade-sama said they had a few things to attend to first. The man answered. Wait, so all 3 of you including this Jiraiya guy are my godparents? How come you didn't tell me you were also my godmother, Tsunade? Naruto asked. I was going to, but I didn't want to press so many things onto you at once. I wasn't even expecting Fugaku to come up to you so quickly. Sorry, Naruto. Tsunade said. I'm not mad at you or anything. I was just curious, but it is nice to know that I have more people who actually care about me. Naruto told her. Believe me, Naruto. We all were looking forward to your birth. Kushina and I would talk about it every day during her pregnancy. Your father and Fugaku would do so too. Tsunade-chan was very excited as well as Jiraiya. It hurt all of us deeply when your parent died during the attack. I was confused as to why Kurama would do such a thing. Because your mother would tell me how she befriended him. It was weird to me at first, but I got used to it over time. I believe I was the only one who knew besides Minato on how close she was to him. But I am beyond relieved to know that you are still alive. I should have known that you were alive. Minato would never seal Kurama into just any newborn child. He would have to have 100% trust in said person to leave them with a responsibility that great. Makoto explained. Not only that, but he also knew that not just anybody could handle the burden of being a Jinchuriki. Many people can't handle having that much chakra inside of them. However, he knew that you, his son, would be able to handle such a task. To be able to control Kurama's power better than what Kushina could. Who else would he trust but his own son to do so? Fugaku added. I guess you're right. My dad must have had a lot of faith in me. Naruto said. Sakura dear, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking by my godson's side. You don't know how grateful I am to you for being in his life. You were there for him when nobody else was. You even risked your own well-being for his. That takes a very kind spirit to do all of that. Makoto told Sakura. Sakura just smiled. I was only do what any best friend would do. Naruto would do the same for me anyways. Oh my god, you two are just so cute. Makoto squealed. Naruto and Sakura blushed while everyone else just laughed. It was embarrassing to be called cute like that. I think you two should meet our youngest son Sasuke. He's your age and I think you will her along with him just fine. Fugaku said as he called for Sasuke to come out here. Sasuke came and looked a bit confused. What's going on, father? The boy asked. I want you to meet Naruto and Sakura. They are your age. I'm sure you three will get along just fine. Now why don't you show them around while your mother gets dinner ready? Fugaku voiced. Sasuke did as his father said and led Naruto and Sakura outside of the house. The three kids talked to each other while walking down. Sakura led them to the river he and his brother would come to. So how did you guys meet? Sasuke asked. We met at the park one day about a year and a half ago. We've been best friends ever since. Naruto answered. Oh well, what brought you guys to my house? Sasuke wondered. Naruto and Sakura looked at each other, both wondering if they should tell Sasuke everything. Naruto nodded at Sakura. The Pinkett sighed. Listen Sasuke, it's a long story so please be prepared to listen. Sakura explained everything to Sasuke, telling him how they were living out on the streets for a year, Sakura's parents, Naruto being a Jinchuriki, Sasuke's parents being Naruto's godparents, the training trip and whatever else needed to be said. Sasuke took all of the information in. So you guys seem to have been through a lot. Damn, so Naruto is my god brother. That's cool, it just sucks that I won't be in the academy with you guys until the final year. At least you won't be leaving until a couple more months. Sasuke told them. Yeah, that's true, but I can't wait to start training. It's a goal of mine and Sakura's to become strong shinobi and we are so going to be strong when we return. Naruto voiced while Sakura nodded. We could always start training. I wanna become strong too to make my family proud of me. Sasuke suggested. What do you have in mind, Sasuke-san? Sakura asked. How about we spar with each other? It'll help teach us how to fight. It'll also build up our stamina for future fights. We can also practice throwing shuriken and kunais. Maybe some chakra exercises too if you guys already unlocked yours. Sasuke said. That's actually a good start. Plus we did unlock our chakra. So it'll be good practice. When should we start though? Sakura wondered. What about tomorrow? Naruto suggested. That's good. We can practice every day until you guys leave. Then when you come back, we can see just how much we all improved. Sasuke replied. Yeah, that would be cool. I guess we should go buy some shuriken and kunais before we start trading tomorrow. Where are we going to train at though? Naruto questioned. Don't worry, I know a spot where my big brother takes me to watch him practice sometimes. It's a secluded area. Sasuke spoke out. Hey, do you think we should start to head back now? We've been gone for a while now. Sakura said. Yeah, we probably should. Besides, I'm getting hungry. Sasuke, is your mom a good cook? Not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just asking cause I've never had a mother's home cooked meal besides whenever Sakura would bring me her mom's food. It was good, but I still want to see if your mom's is better. Naruto asked. Sasuke just shrugged. To me, my mom's food is really good, but everybody is different. It's possible for you and Sakura to not enjoy it. The raven-haired boy pointed out. Guess you're right. I'll just have to see for myself then. Naruto said as they made their way back to Sasuke's home. When they got back, they had saw that it was food on the table already. Well, you three sure took your time. Come on and eat, I just finished cooking, be sure to go wash your hands first. Makoto told them. The kids did as they were told. They washed their hands and returned to the table. They sat by each other. Everyone started to eat. It was a small conversations going on. But everyone seemed to enjoy themselves. Naruto couldn't help but wonder if this is what a family is supposed to be like. He didn't know the answer, but he knew that he felt satisfied right now. He couldn't ask for anything better than this. A year ago he wouldn't have ever thought that this is where he would be. Sakura, who was talking to Sasuke, noticed the look on her best friend's face. The particular look he was making meant he was thinking about something. She tapped his leg to get his attention. Naruto looked at Sakura and could immediately tell she was concerned about him. He couldn't help but smile at her. Don't worry, Sakura. I'm fine, I was just thinking about something. He assured her. Sakura wasn't satisfied, but she dropped it for now. She knew he would tell her what he was thinking about later on when it's just the two of them. After dinner, Fugaku asked Naruto a question. Naruto, I would like for you to hear me out on something. Sure, what is it? Naruto said. I'm sure you know about the royal clans of Konoha. The Hyuga, Senju, Uzumaki, Uchiha and Harunos are our founding clans. Me and your father had plans for the clans in the village to become closer to one another. We already knew the Yamanaka, Nara and Akamichi clans were very close with one another. We wanted something like that for more clans. However, we never got to go further into it because your father had passed. What I would like is for the Uchiha, Haruno and Uzumaki clans to all become closer to one another. The Uchihas has been closed off from others for so long. It's time we make a change to that. If we want to change others' perspective of us, then we need to let go of our arrogance. It only hold us back. The way our clan is going now is only going to lead us to a dark path. I want to prevent that as soon as possible. I want you and Sakura to think about us becoming great allies. I mean, we already are due to us being a part of the village. But I mean for us to rely on one another. I have heard stories on how close your two clans were before you joined the village and even after. You could always rely on each other. That is something the Uchiha hasn't had in a long time. We haven't been trusted by someone due to our predecessors' actions. I can't go to the Hyugas about this because we have a bit of a rivalry between them. Maybe the next generation can change that. If we could get all of the founding clans to become closer to each other, it will strengthen the village immensely. You two don't have to give me an answer now, but just think about it. He said. Naruto and Sakura both thought about what Fugaku had said. All he was basically asking for is a better relationship between our clans. It would be beneficial to the village as a whole. Sure, I don't mind, Fugaku. We could try to strengthen our relationship with one another, but it won't be much from my part considering I'm the only Uzumaki in the village. Sakura is still banned from her clan until she decides to go back. So she won't be able to do anything, at least until we become genin. That's when we'll become clan heads. Naruto replied while Sakura nodded in agreement. I understand that all too well. I'm not asking for an immediate change. Just a small change to get started on. I know you two won't be able to do much until a few years from now. Just having you agree is huge progress for me. Fugaku told them. I see, you know this is actually a great idea, Fugaku-san. I wonder what others would think once they hear about our improved relationship. Sakura said. Oh, news will be flying through the village fast. It would only be a matter of time before other villages found out. Tsunade added. Yeah, and we don't want them finding out about Naruto being alive, at least until he becomes strong enough to protect himself. The same goes for you since your bloodline is an extreme rarity. They'll try to send enemy ninja to kidnap you if word got out about it before you were able to protect yourself. Makoto interjected. Yeah, you're right about that, Makoto-san. Sakura agreed. Everybody stayed at the table for a while longer just talking. Eventually Tsunade decided it was time to head back. Makoto gave Naruto another hug and a kiss on the cheek before he left. She also did the same to Sakura. Makoto could only feel bad for the young girl. She also had to go through a traumatic experience as a young age. She cursed her former friend for being so stupid. Sasuke gave both Naruto and Sakura a fist bump. He told them to come back around 12 so they could start their training. Fugaku told the children that they had access to the Uchiha's jutsu library. This surprised all of the adults. Fugaku said it was the first step to the Uchihas building up their reputation in the village. The group left the compound and headed back to the apartment. Sakura asked if Tsunade would be living with them until the training trip begins. Tsunade responded, "I'm not sure yet. I know I will be staying with you for the night. It might be best for us to just stay with you too. That way we won't have to worry about paying the hotel, plus I can start teaching you about the medical field." The group reached the apartment and all went to get ready for bed. Naruto and Sakura were both excited for the next day to come. Their road to becoming shinobi was taking a huge step starting tomorrow. It was hard for them to fall asleep due to the excitement of it all. Time had passed. Naruto, Sakura and Sasuke all had trained together for the last several months. They could now walk on water and trees. Their taijutsu still needed a lot of work, but it was better than what most their age could do. It turned out that Sakura had the best aim out of the three. She always hit her mark. Naruto and Sasuke were able to beat her sometimes whenever they held competitions. But it was never easy to do so. They each all learned 2 fire-style jutsus. Great Fire Ball and Phoenix Sage Fire. It was a good start for a couple of kids who weren't even academy students yet. Eventually Naruto and Sakura became 6. It was finally time for them to leave on their training trip with Kurama. Sasuke was a bit sad that he wouldn't see his closest friends for a few years. But they all promised to write so they could keep in contact. Naruto and Sakura also told Ino, Shikamaru and Choji about their trip. They were sad to see them go, but they understood. Naruto has told them about Kurama being sealed inside of him. He explained that was the reason the adults treated him so bad. For Shikamaru it all made sense. Ino just thought of the villagers being stupid and Choji just shrugged. No matter what, they weren't just going to stop being friends with Naruto. He wasn't the one who destroyed the village. Sasuke and Naruto were like brothers to one another. Sakura and Sasuke were like brother and sister. They were all close to one another. They could only hope the next few years would fly by quick so that they could all hang out together again. Sasuke told them that he would be training hard just like them so he wouldn't get left behind. He already talked to his father and older brother about it. Finally, the training trip has begun. Naruto, Sakura, Tsunade, Shizune and Kurama were all walking down the road in Fire Country. Finally, I get to be out of that village again. I swear this day came up slow on purpose. Kurama grumbled. Naruto and Sakura laughed at the fox. Tsunade and Shizune also laughed. After traveling all day, they decided to set up camp. Naruto and Sakura were sitting by the fire with Kurama. The other two were sitting out by the lake. Look, kids, starting tomorrow, every day will be a challenge for you to get stronger. I will push you to your absolute limits. Then I will push you past your limits over and over again. I know it may seem rough, but trust me when I say you'll benefit greatly from it. I won't have you two learning Kenjutsu until you're both 8. You still need to grow more. For now we will focus on strengthening your bodies. Learning how to utilize your chakra better. Your fighting styles along with jutsu collection. Tsunade will be teaching you all about medical ninjutsu. Naruto, since you're a chakra monster, you will struggle with it. However, you must overcome it and succeed in learning medical ninjutsu. It will help your chakra control vastly. Sakura, you will need to work hard to increase your chakra capacity. I want you to have Junin level reserves by the time we return. We also will be awakening your bloodline, and before you ask. Yes, I know how to do so. Another thing is I want both of you to work on your speed and precision. I know you've been working on precision with Sasuke, but there is always room for improvement. Your teamwork is going to be something we heavily focus on as well. Shinobi usually work in teams of 4. They usually go by 3 genin and 1 junin instructor. I want you two to blow their head off when they see just how well you'll be able to work together. Kurama said. That's a lot to get done in, but I know we will do it. Naruto voiced. Yeah, I know we will be able to. Heck, we may even surpass your expectations of us, Kurama. Sakura agreed while rubbing Kurama's fur. We'll just have to see about that, considering I already have high expectations of both of you. Kurama replied. Time had passed again. 2 years to be exact. Naruto and Sakura were now 8 years old. If it was anyone's guess, they were low Chunin level. Which was impressive considering their age. Sakura had awakened her Kekkei Genkai 2 months ago. The Masana was officially back. When Sakura first awakened it, she was in a sparring match with Kurama. He was really pushing her that particular day. Sakura was being pushed to her limits at that time. As soon as she was about to drop, a surge of energy flowed into her body. She suddenly felt all of her senses went up a level. She could see further distances. All of her muscles had tensed. Sakura's body had begun to move in a way she wasn't used to. It was weird because her movements all felt so natural. When she started fighting back against Kurama, her punches stung a lot more than usual. From others' perspective, it was as if Sakura had become a seasoned veteran shinobi. Kurama was ecstatic because he knew her bloodline had finally awakened. After the fight dragged out more, Sakura felt her stamina hit her as twice as hard. She figured that her body wasn't used to fighting like this. Soon enough she ran out of chakra and passed out from exhaustion. She was asleep for a full day. When she woke up, Kurama explained to her what happened. Sakura was relieved that she finally awakened her bloodline. Naruto was happy for her, as was Tsunade and Shizune. Now today was the day Kurama would give them the swords he had made for them. They were in the land of iron. So Kurama used the transformation jutsu to go to one of the best blacksmith in the land. And asked him if he could make the swords out of the best materials he had. It took about a month and a half to make them, but the blacksmith got it done. During that time, Kurama had the kids study about kenjutsu. It was best to have some sort of understanding about the kenjutsu before they actually trained with their swords. Kurama had placed a sealing scroll on the ground and put chakra into it. Swords came out of it. 6 of them to be exact. I had 3 each made for you too. Honestly, I only did it so you can adjust to the different weights of them. But maybe you too can figure out something else to do with them. I also have scroll of your clan's sword fighting styles. During our visit to Uzushiogakure a year ago, I made sure to grab every single binding scroll I knew about. Luckily for us, the older generation of Harunos gave a copy of their techniques to the Uzumaki clan. It's no surprise considering how close they were. At least this way we won't have to go to Sakura's clan former homeland to search for information. That is unless Sakura here chooses to do so. But yeah, pick 3 swords you like and begin training in your clan's sword styles. I want both of you to study both clan styles. The more techniques you have at your disposal the better. But don't be fooled into thinking you're an automatic advantage if you go against anybody who doesn't have a particular style. The only thing that gives you a true advantage on the battlefield is experience. It's nothing else to it. If a shinobi has more battle experience than you, then he automatically has the advantage no matter how many techniques you know. Yes, you can still defeat an opponent who is more experienced, but that still doesn't give you an advantage. In life or death, the only thing that can save you at some crucial moments in battle is instinct. Sometimes it is better to rely on your instincts than your mind. Your body can move faster than what your thoughts can sometimes. Those are the moments where one can relish a battle. It gets your blood going at a high rate. That is why I come at you with the intent to kill. I know it may be harsh, but this is the best way to train you. You won't improve as fast if I don't come at you with intent. Some shinobi like to use intent to their advantage against weaker opponents. If you are not strong enough to stand against the pure intent of your opponent, you won't have any chance to survive. You'll be stuck in place because you're too frightened to move, which gives your opponent plenty of time to attack. Now enough of that. Get to practicing. Don't forget to also practice your sealing arts. After that's done, go to Tsunade for your medical ninjutsu training. We'll do taijutsu later on after you rest for a while, Kurama explained. Hi sensei. Naruto and Sakura said at the same time. The two picked out their swords and began reading the scrolls. Once about an hour and a half passed, they began practicing what they had read in the scrolls for about 3 hours. When that was done, they practiced their sealing skills for an hour and a half. Next was to go see Tsunade, during the last 2 years. They all have gotten close, especially Sakura and Tsunade. Sakura had begun to think of her Tsunade as a mother. She was always kind and patient with her, she always encouraged her. Not that nobody else didn't as well, but it just felt a certain way when Tsunade would tell her that she was proud of her. Whenever Mebuki told Sakura she was proud of her, it didn't feel as strong as when Tsunade or even Naruto said it. Kurama and Shizune even gave her a stronger feeling when they said it. Sakura would sometimes have bad dreams about her parents and wake up in the middle of the night crying. Tsunade would always be the one who would come to calm her down. She would always let Sakura fall asleep in her arms and sleep with her from time to time. Tsunade also taught Sakura about girl things along with Shizune. Kurama would do the same with Naruto. The Sannin would also praise Sakura a lot for how gifted she was in medical ninjutsu. It all just came so easy for Sakura. Surprisingly, Naruto wasn't that bad himself with medical ninjutsu. Now certain things were a lot more difficult for him than others. But he was getting the hang of it all. The shadow clone jutsu helped him out a lot as well. Due to gaining the experience of a shadow clone when it dispels. All of the chakra exercises he does with him is paying off slowly. Tsunade felt massive pride when Sakura excelled with her super strength technique. Due to Sakura's perfect chakra control, it was a given that she would have a good chance to master it. Tsunade didn't expect for her to pick it up so fast though. Sakura was able to cause some damage. Tsunade knew her strength would only increase as she got older. Now Naruto on the other hand wasn't as good with this as Sakura. Yes, he could perform it, but it was far from being perfect. He had to try to maintain a good grip of control of his chakra in order to pinpoint the release of chakra at the right moment. It was a bit difficult to master. He was able to cause damage too, just not as much as Sakura yet. The good thing for Naruto is that he has an accelerated healing ability. So his hands heal quite fast thanks to Kurama. Tsunade was sure Naruto would get it down in time. Hell, she was shocked he made it as far as he did. No disrespect, but she knew his chakra control had to be horrendous due to how much chakra he has. It was good that her favorite blonde was diligent as his training. Tsunade was always very proud of Naruto. She knew he was going to be even stronger than his parents someday. And just knowing that she had a great deal to do with that made her so happy. The Slug Princess did look as Sakura as the daughter she always wanted. She looked at Shizune as a daughter as well, but Shizune didn't have the potential Sakura does. Shizune is a damn good medic, there's no doubt about that. But Sakura has a chance to surpass her within the next few years. Shizune also isn't capable of doing the strength technique. Tsunade always have wanted to teach it to one of her kids, but sadly she never had any. Sakura and Shizune she considers her daughters. So when Sakura showed that she was able to learn it, Tsunade had saw herself in the girl. As time passed again, on one particular night Sakura and Tsunade were in a hotel room by themselves. Naruto, Kurama and Shizune all went out to explore the town. The two were talking about small things. Sakura was wondering how much will Konoha have changed when they returned. It has been 3 years after all. She and Naruto were 9 years old. I wouldn't say it would change too much. Maybe a few minor things here and there, but I doubt it'll be that much. So have you been writing to your boyfriend Sasuke? Tsunade asked with a smirk. Sakura just shook her head at Tsunade. Come on Shisho, you know I only think of Sasuke as a brother. If I'm being completely honest, my crush is Naruto. I knew we grew up together and all, but he's honestly the only I think is for me. I know I'm too young to be thinking about love, but I know that I like Naruto a lot. I think he may feel the same about me too. Sakura admitted with a blush. Tsunade couldn't help but smile. Oh yeah, I knew you two were going to be together at some point. It's bound to happen at some point, so don't rush it, Sakura-chan. I have another thing I want to talk to you about, Shisho. Sakura took a deep breath. I think of you as the mother I've always wanted, she told Tsunade. Tsunade's eyes widened. She was shocked but happy to hear Sakura tell her this. The first day we met, when you gave me a hug, it made me feel all warm inside. I was comforting in your arms as if you would protect me from all that comes to harm me. I never felt that way from Mebuki. Sakura spat her name. She didn't call her parents mom and dad anymore. After what they've done, they didn't deserve to be called that. Over the past 3 years I felt a stronger connection with you. Every time when you would praise me, I would be so happy. No one makes me feel that way besides you or Naruto. I was also happy that I was able to learn your techniques that made you famous. I'm not as good as you are, but I have a good start at least. You're honestly the role model I aspire to be. Even if you do have a drinking and gambling problem, I still want to be just like you. So strong-spirited. You're so strong physically and you've overcame your grief that had you in a deep depression. You're such a strong woman, Tsunade. What I'm trying to say is, can I have you as my mother? Sakura asked. Tsunade instantly brought the girl into a tight but comforting hug. Oh Sakura-chan, I'm very happy to hear you say that. I was beginning to look at you as my daughter along with Shizune for a while now. I've always wanted to have a child to pass down all of my techniques to, but Shizune couldn't learn the strength technique. You however are that child. I've even watched you grow up. It's so precious to see you improve every day. I'm so proud of you, my darling daughter. Yes, you can have me as your mother if you're willing to let me have you as my daughter. Tsunade told her softly. Sakura began to cry into Tsunade's shoulder. The pinkette finally had the mother she's always wanted. Tsunade had tears in her eyes as well. After the finished crying, Sakura laid her head in her mother's lap. Whenever we get back to the village, we'll have sensei give us some adoption papers. You'll still keep your last name, but if you choose to you can add mine to yours as well. Tsunade told her. Alright Ka-san. Sakura said. When the others returned, Sakura told them that she was going to be adopted by Tsunade. Shizune and Naruto congratulated her. While Kurama was thinking about something, he looked at Tsunade. Are you going to change her last name? He asked. No, Sakura will keep her name so that she'll be able to take the clan head positions with no problems. If she wants she can add mine last name to hers. Tsunade explained. Kurama nodded. Good idea Tsunade, and congratulations to you both. During this third year of training, Naruto and Sakura had a good grasp of both family sword styles. Sparring against each other and Kurama almost every day accelerates the learning process. The two actually began coming up with a sword style together. They called it Santoryu, the three-sword style, since they each had 3 swords. Naruto and Sakura figured they needed a way to utilize all 3 of them at once. They brought the idea to Kurama. He agreed that it was creative and that it's a style that nobody will see coming. Kurama told Naruto he would teaching him his father famous jutsu, the Rasengan, once he turns 10. He will also help him out with the Hiraishin as well. Sakura will also learn the Rasengan as well. She decided that she would leave the Hiraishin to strictly Naruto. She would just find a better way to fully utilize the body flicker. Naruto agreed to also find a better way to use the body flicker just you until he fully understands the Hiraishin. It will take some time to fully get everything understood. Naruto could only guess that it won't be ready for battle until 2 years possibly, unless he could get it done sooner than that. The kids' ninjutsu, fuinjutsu and taijutsu improved dramatically throughout the years. Now they had more jutsu in the arsenal, along with a greater understand of fuinjutsu. This is one area Naruto excelled Sakura. Naruto would always have a better understanding of seals than Sakura. The pinkette was more talented in genjutsu. Their taijutsu had took a dramatic leap thanks to Tsunade and Kurama. Sakura also had a way better grasp over her bloodline now. She could control it and keep it activated for 15 minutes without getting fatigued. The next year had came around. This was the biggest year of the training. Kurama told them that everything they were working on, they were going to have put in twice as effort. He wanted them pushing themselves every day. Naruto and Sakura were practicing with their primary chakra natures. Sakura had a strong water affinity with a minor lightning affinity. Naruto had a strong water and wind affinity, and surprisingly a decent earth affinity. Kurama and Tsunade both taught them chakra element practice to help improve the strength of their jutsus. Naruto and Sakura Kenjutsu was coming along. They were progressing with the Santoryu. Sakura was more comfortable with Nitoryu than Santoryu. It wasn't that she didn't like Santoryu, it's just that it felt more natural with Nitoryu. That didn't mean she didn't work her ass off to get more comfortable with the 3-sword style. Naruto flourished with Santoryu. He had a good grip on it. Both of them were proficient enough with Itoryu. They would have 3-way battles with Kurama to get used to using this style in battle. Naruto has started to learn how to access Kurama's chakra. Kurama told him that he still had to wait a few more years to be able to use his full power. But he could now be learning how to control his chakra to a degree. The first time Naruto used his chakra, it was hard to control his anger. It got easier the more he sparred while using Kurama's chakra. Kurama figured it would be a while until he's able to go further than the one-tailed state. He figured it should be good enough for now. The kids were now highly skilled in fuinjutsu and medical ninjutsu. Naruto was a true prodigy when it came to fuinjutsu. It all just came so easy to him. He could create his own seals now. He even understood a good amount of the Uzumaki's sealing arts. Sakura wasn't as good as Naruto, but she was more than proficient at it. Sakura flourished with medical ninjutsu. She was literally the second coming of her mother. Shizune and Kurama would always tell her that. She always felt pride arise in her whenever they did. Tsunade also continued to praise her daughter's skills. Sakura also improved with her super strength technique. Tsunade pushed her to her limits. She didn't let up on either of them. Naruto had also come a good ways in both medical ninjutsu and the super strength technique. Now his hand didn't hurt as much whenever he used his super strength. He was also good enough to be a professional medic. Still wasn't close to Sakura's level in either. But he improved nonetheless. Tsunade would take them to small villages to help health the sick and injured. She told them it would be good practice to heal actual people. That way they'll have experience in it enough to give out treatment on the battlefield without freezing up. Naruto and Sakura also mastered the Rasengan. Naruto was able to add more chakra into his to make it bigger. Sakura could do the same, but she preferred not to, considering that it would take a decent amount of chakra to do so. Sakura's chakra reserves have grown to a low Junin's reserves. But it was nowhere near Naruto's beyond cage level reserves. It was a good thing she had perfect chakra control. She could last in fights a lot longer due to that and her increased stamina. The kids also were able to improve their skill with the body flicker technique. Now they were able to use it while fighting. Tsunade told me most ninja weren't capable of using it to such a degree in mid-battle. She even had them teach it to her. She knew it would come in handy. In her opinion, Naruto and Sakura were more than ready for the shinobi world. Their determination to become strong has gotten them at such a level at a very young age. She was positive they were high Junin level. They would probably reach cage level in their teenage years. Tsunade was excited to see how their story will turn out. As time passed, it was time for them to head back to Fire Country. Tsunade got word from the Hokage that the academy starts in a week. She figured it would take about 5 to 6 days to get back to the village. Kurama was beyond satisfied with Naruto and Sakura's progress. He knew their names were spread through the land in given time. Shizune was very proud of her siblings' progress. It was amazing to see two promising shinobi begin to blossom. She also wanted to see how their relationship will take off. It was very interesting to hear Naruto admit to him and Tsunade how he felt about Sakura. It was on a day where Sakura was training with her Kekkei Genkai with Kurama. Naruto was learning how to improve his chakra scalpels. "Hey Shizune and Tsunade, is it okay for me to feel something more for Sakura?" he asked. Tsunade smiled at his question. "No, it's not. I think you two would make a cute couple with how close you are. I agree, you two are adorable. You would no doubt be a power couple. Just don't try to rush it, Tuto. Let everything fall in place itself," Shizune added. "I guess you are right. I really like her, but I just don't know how to exactly come out and say it," Naruto admitted. "Don't worry, Naruto, when the time is right, you'll be able to admit your feelings to her," Tsunade told him. "What if she doesn't feel the same?" he asked. "Don't worry about that. It's better to go for it than to live a life of regret because you never took the risk. We as ninja don't have a long life expectancy, Naruto. Most die either in their 30s or early 40s if they are lucky. Then you have legends like me and Sensei who are able to make it this far. Just trust me, Naruto. You will be fine," Tsunade assured him. Ever since that day, Naruto decided to let things play itself out. Tsunade and Shizune were right about not rushing things. The group had finally finished packing all of their stuff. Naruto and Sakura felt very proud of themselves for how far they came. Now it was time to go back home and begin their life as shinobi of Konohagakure. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.